I hear my peas being
Oh.
popped. People of the chats. I'm feeling very silly today. Um, yeah, I'm
People
ready.
of the
Peas being.
chats.
I hear my peas
Oh,
being
oh
popped.
boy, where
People
am
of the
I?
chats.
There we go. I think being away for 1 week is too long because
It's
obviously I
too
don't know what
long.
I'm doing.
It's too long. You've been gone for too long. Too
It's like
long.
it's like my first rodeo or something. Oh my goodness.
Okay. So I'm proud of you that you got to the part where you're able to turn the computer on. You remember how to you remember how to do that.
Yeah.
I'm so proud.
Oh man, okay.
You good?
I think so. I think.
You good? Because I'm like, I feel like you're gonna channel your Wonder Woman when we get to a particular topic today.
No, I'm not gonna channel no. It's not like that.
Not like that. Okay. I'm gonna make reference to it all the way up until we get to it.
Okay.
So,
Okay, if you
so
say so.
by the time we actually get to the topic, you're gonna be so fired up. You're I don't even know what you're gonna say at that point. It's gonna be crazy.
Alright. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. You ready?
As long as one of us is ready.
We gotta be ready.
Did we even
This
tweet?
is
We didn't
it.
even tweet this out.
This. We gotta be ready.
Okay, well we.
Are you
Okay.
nervous?
No, I'm not nervous.
Are you scared?
Yeah.
That's honest. Don't be scared. Don't be nervous. You'll be fine. It's only been a week. I don't want this all that close to my face. Peas popped and whatnot. Da 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 da. Yay!
Okay.
Yay, Daniela! Yay!
It is, yay! I'm getting there. It feels so. Oh my god! I thought I was so prepared, and I was like so on it, and I'm like, no, I'm not nearly as prepared as I thought I was going to be. But I am ready though.
Okay.
All right, let's go into this.
All right, let's do it.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Daniela. How are you?
I am good.
Why do people do that? Hi, how are you? Why do they talk like all slow? What is that? What does that mean?
No, wait. I have no idea.
Being very silly right now. Are we on or are we on?
We are on. We are on. We are ready. We are out there for the world.
Out there for the world. All right, 386. All right, 386, Daniela.
I'm ready.
Black Power. Should I start now?
Yeah, again, we're gonna keep trying with these different overlays until we find, what works.
I like what's actually let me take a peek because I was bothering you all week. Let me see what this I like this. This is ooh man. All fancy.
Nice
I like
bigger
it.
windows.
Bigger windows. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. This is nice. This is nice. All right, so yeah, I had to close it down because I was getting too excited. 386 of the show radio. Danielle, how are you? Do I sound okay to you with this new Shure thing? I'm okay. It's a Shure thing right now.
A very Shure thing.
Yeah. I'm really digging it.
Which I guess I should make the correction. So the last time we were recording, I said that if you downloaded the audio from this, it was from the Shure. But we had some technical complications and we didn't get to use that recording, so it was back to the Yeti. So this time, if you're watching it on stream and on the podcast, it's with the Shure mic.
It's with the Shure mic, and the Shure mic is pretty dope. I'm really feeling it. I'm really excited about this episode, Danielle. We got so many interesting topics for the people
last
of
2
the
weeks.
chats. and the podcasters who will be the podcast listeners who will be tuning in later on from all the different podcast platforms. I'm really excited about that. Feeling really chill, you know. This social media break has been amazing for me. I'm so happy about it. Yeah.
So what has happened with you for the last 2 weeks? Because we didn't get to record last week because I had some
Right.
not technical complications. I had apartment complications that are fixed
You
now,
did?
which is nice.
Do you
Yeah.
want to talk about that? Do you want
Yeah,
to go
we
into that?
can, we can. So if anybody's
So
like
what
ever lived
happened?
in, yeah, well, if anybody's ever like lived in an apartment complex, it's never ever fun to be the bottom tenant. So my upstairs neighbor, who is really awesome, the entire family is pretty good. They had a leak in their sink that neither one of us knew about until it broke through my ceiling. And my landlord, because my schedule is always so weird, last Sunday, like it took 2 weeks to finally come up with like, hey, I'm home
Thanks,
now. I can be here. And I'm like, please. Well, there's just like this giant hole in my ceiling for like the last 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, okay. Is this like the only time that you can do this? He's like, yeah. Okay. How long do you need? He's like, oh, about 2 days. I'm like, 2 whole days? Like how many of those 2 days do you need? And, you know, he took all day. And I figured, well, if I have to cancel the show, do as much as you possibly can. And my landlord was awesome, and he finished it. He patched it. He replaced the pipes that were in between our floors, and it's all good now. And I'm like, eh. And I felt kind of useless at the same time because I understand that in most places, you don't, like, if your landlord's going to hire somebody to do it or they're going to do the maintenance themselves, it's like a liability thing for you to help them. But in Hawaii, like, we have like this whole, you know, helping out each other thing, family, friend vibe. It felt weird for me to sit there, and my landlord's not a young gentleman. He's not even middle aged. He's 69 years old. You know,
Wow.
he's very hands-on. You can tell that he spent his entire life just being a DIY type of guy. And
Okay.
obviously I was like, you sure you don't need any help? You know, I could carry the ladder for you, could pass up tools for you. He's like, no, it's fine, I got it. Even my son felt weird, like he didn't know what to do because he'd stand in the kitchen. He's like, do you need anything? Do you want something to drink? Do you need help? And he's like, no, it's fine. I got this. And like, my son are just standing there like, I don't know what to do. And that has to do with a lot with how we're raised to be. Like, we're not raised to just like sit there and watch somebody else in our family work. Like that was never allowed to happen. Like, if you see somebody doing something, you get up, you go, you help, you're in there. You're not just like hanging back doing nothing. So to be there was really weird. And I was like, I gotta leave my apartment or something. I can't just sit here and watch you work. I'm gonna go do something productive for me. But it was done. It was good. I'm glad that it was done. It looks like nothing was ever like there. It was like there's no damage, so it's nice. And that was kind of my Sunday.
Happy how everything turned out.
Yeah, I am.
Dope.
And then I'm getting a new stove out of it because I told him I had some problems with my stove, and he's like, oh, we'll bring you another stove. Just let me know what day. And I'm like, yeah, I'll let you know. This is probably gonna take a month too to coordinate these days. But at least I know that's not gonna take all day because he's having somebody else deliver it. It's probably gonna be like Home Depot or something.
Okay. So new stove. Nice.
Yeah, just the normal house stuff. My life is not exciting. I don't know what you're thinking here.
So what did I'm not thinking anything.
Because the response was like, yeah, that's nice. Good for you.
No, no new stoves. I mean, I love to cook myself, so I think that's pretty dope. Like, is it Is it fire or is it the other one? The
It's
other
just
kind?
electric. It's just an electric stove. We
Electric.
don't have a gas
Nice.
stove. I wish we had a gas stove. I love those.
And your life is exciting. What are you talking about?
Eh.
It'll be exciting next month.
Why? What happens next month?
Black Panther.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Huh? You like that one? That was
Yeah.
good. That was
That's
pretty good.
smooth.
So we have an exciting show for you guys today. Exciting show, episode 386 of the show radio. Daniela, what's up? How are you?
Good. I got
I'm
it.
Andrew.
I'm
How are you?
Danny.
You're Daniela.
Hi.
And we are the team here at the show radio. TheShowRadio.info is the website. TheShowRadio.info is where you can find us. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the places where you can find podcasts. That's where you can find us. And this is a tech, gaming, entertainment show. We talk about the things that excite us throughout the week, and also tangents as well. And we try to keep it as context as much as we can. And I'm excited to be back on the mic with Daniela. I'm really hyped right now. What's going on? So besides that, so we got that out of the way. Oh, I gotta tell you what happened. I finally got my full name on Facebook now. That was a thing.
How hard was that?
I thought it was gonna be very difficult, but it wasn't. I just had to send them documentations that my last name is really Alliance, and because there's another one, right, somewhere, I think in Quebec or something like that. So when you put Andrew Alliance in Facebook, I'll be most likely the first one in the search results now because I gave them official documentation or whatever. But I'm so happy about that because I want my name to match across all the social media platforms. That was like a big deal for me. So I got really excited. Turnaround time was 5-6 hours or less, so it was pretty quick.
So wait, anytime you want to change your name, you have to provide them documentation.
I don't think it's any time. Is when I first got my Facebook page, I just had Andrew A. I don't remember why I did that, and I was trying to figure out why I didn't just get my last name. So then it came to the point where I was like, okay, I want to get my last name on Facebook. When I put in the name, it says something like, you know, your name does not meet the qualifications, blah blah blah, and I thought I was doing something wrong. So finally, I decided, you know what? I'm going to try it again. And if it says the same thing, I'm going to go read the forums to see exactly what they say for me to make the change. So I did that. And it was pretty much give us this particular documentation that you have that verifies that this is your actual government name. Fine. So I did that. And then once I did that, the turnaround time was a couple of hours, and that was it. And I got my name.
I wonder
Word.
what people have to do because, okay, my number one pet peeve with Facebook are those couples that have the combined pages. So the first name is both the husband and wife or the boyfriend and girlfriend's name, and the last name is the smushed up thing of theirs. Oh my God, I hate those. So I'm just like wondering, like, so if you decide that you broke up with this person, you got a divorce, do you have to provide documentation? No, my name is not
Yeah.
Mark Abigail.
Why would you do that, though? I don't even understand why somebody would combine their name with. I don't understand what the thing is with that.
Because people are crazy.
Okay.
I don't
I can
understand.
definitely take that.
I don't understand it either because in a lot of cases, obviously these two people created their accounts and they weren't together. Then all of a sudden they're dating and one of them decides, oh, well, we're going to share a profile now. I
Right.
never understood that concept other than either the woman or the man is very territorial.
Yup, that's what it is. Somebody doesn't
And
trust somebody.
yeah,
That's what it is.
which is obviously off to a bad start. Obviously, like
Right.
it's not a relationship podcast, but I swear if you're in a relationship that's like that, run as fast as you can. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Tips with Daniela.
Nobody got time for that. That's just crazy.
No,
I never understood it.
that's red flags. That's immediate red flags as soon as you see that for sure.
So, yeah.
Word.
I don't
So that's
understand
what's
people.
going on with that relationship tip. Daniela, what happened to my notes? Okay, so yeah, so a couple of things I definitely wanted to mention. We're going to talk about God of War stuff, of course, the Tomb Raider stuff that took place. Let's see, Twitch craziness. A great article that Daniela wants to talk about. We have that in there. That's going to be interesting. I don't even know how I'm going to navigate that. It's going to be interesting. Toys R Us has some challenges, and they're trying to make amends with a couple of things. So that's going to be interesting as well. Nintendo Labo, Metal Gear Survive, a couple of things. Facebook gaming. So a lot here for episode 386. And I definitely want to start with some stats from Play Store. Hit 19 billion downloads in Q4 2017, increasing its lead over Apple's App Store to 145%. VirtualBox guest additions to be included in Linux kernel. Any comments on those two things? We're probably going to fly through most of these things.
No, I'm good.
Okay,
Nothing to
so
add to
Ubuntu
that.
1804. We use the older kernel of Nautilus. Wine 3.0 release with Direct 3D 11 support. If you're interested in Sly for Ubuntu, that's going to be in there. 12 Thunderbird add-ons, that's going to be in there. How to migrate, I'm really interested in this one. How to migrate all your data from Google Chrome to Firefox, because now I'm using Firefox more than ever. Any comments on those things?
What am I using? Oh, I use Chrome.
Okay. What do you...
I usually like kind of jump in between them for
Mm,
no particular reason other than I don't ever want to get stuck into that point where you just use one product or one source and you don't try out what else is out there to see if it better suits your needs, because you get stuck into that little box where like, oh well, I don't need to change because it does it for me, but you don't
right.
know what else is out there too, or what has been updated, because I've used Firefox before, but at that
Firefox is
time,
dope.
yeah, Firefox is good. But then Chrome came out and they had that other stuff, and I tried that. I think I just lately been stuck on Chrome that I haven't really gone back to try anything else. So
Yeah, it's like well, I don't want to use that comparison because I want to talk about it so bad, division and how I need to play catch up, and now it's at a different place, but we'll talk about that later. I'm excited about what's going on there. Google Assistant now support voice match for multiple Netflix profiles. That is interesting, and I was able to do that. So yeah, talk to me about that. Were you aware that they did that change recently?
no, no, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. So
Google
high
Assist.
hundreds. Yeah. So if you go to your Google Home app and you go to the Netflix section and the app, you can unlink and relink. I had to relink and then pick my profile. So when I say, "Hey, what up, G?" You'll connect me to Netflix so I could watch whatever, and then it goes to my profile directly wherever I was, wherever I left off.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Uh
Now I
huh.
want to go and try that.
Uh huh. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Supports both. So wait, so you have to just record everybody. So if you have multiple profiles, because I think on my Netflix I have 3. So you just record
Okay.
everybody's voice and it'll just recognize it. Okay, that's cool. That's kind of like
Well,
how
yeah.
PlayStation
So
does their facial recognition thing for your profile account.
okay,
Did
so
you
the
know that
recording of
does that?
the recording of the voices, you can train it to know who you are based on the profile that you have in there. But in addition to that, I can say, "Hey, what up, G? Play Netflix on bedroom," and it's gonna go directly to my profile, Andrew on Netflix, to play Blacklist rather than trying to figure out who's who. So now you can actually select who it is. So between the training of the voices, which is one context, and then actually having uh, going directly to my Netflix profile, which is the other context, they just added that for Netflix, which is really dope.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm really feeling that.
That's cool.
So
I
that's
like that.
fun. So I got to tell you what I did this weekend, right?
What'd you
So
do?
I'm trying to make all the rooms make sense in my house, right? So the media room is obviously this room, right? This is the Bat Cave where I do my recording and gaming and different things. So the projector was in here, for a while. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to rearrange everything in the living room because we have like a big empty wall in the living room. It's about at least 100 inches, right? So now that's the family room. That's where we're going to watch most of the movies now. So we watched Thor on that thing. Absolutely amazing. The couch was in the right place. The ottoman was there. We had it. That's amazing. So I'm thinking, right, that if the Super Bowl happens to be a watch ESPN thing, I may stay home for the Super Bowl. I may not go to anybody's house and watch that.
Yeah, because you have this giant projector, you can watch it at home. There,
I
you
know.
should you just
I
should
know.
invite
I know.
people to your place.
I was thinking about that, but I'm not. I don't like people like that.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Mm, I don't know. I don't. It's weird because I can have a conversation with a lot of individuals and have comments like that, but I still find myself in my own cocoon of when I'm home, I just want to be reserved and it's my space, and I don't want necessarily a whole bunch of people there. Select few people, but I don't want people there all the time. I mean, if you were like nearby, I'd be like, hey, come through, but I don't really like people like that. So I don't know who I'd invite. I know who that I'd invite that's nearby in proximity. I'll say that I'm not gonna name names, but I know who I would invite. But I don't know if I'm gonna invite anybody on Sunday.
Just you.
And I don't know. So even in the context of that particular conversation, we even moved the show to Friday, um, so we can enjoy the weekend.
Oh, okay. So that just clicked in my head. I'm so sorry.
Daniela, next weekend is the Super Bowl.
Well, I don't know if you realized from the other show how much I know sports or
Yeah,
pay attention, because it just dawned on me. Oh, Super Bowl. That's why we need to record another day.
it's all good. It's
Get
all
it?
good. So
I get it
so
now.
that's what's going on. So that's what's happening. So I rearranged everything. We threw out a lot of stuff. We have like bags of donation stuff, bags of shredding stuff that we need to get rid of and all that. So I just wanted to be nice. When we even like the trailer, one of the trailers we're going to talk about later. I watched it on that and I was just like, dude, do I even have to go anywhere now? This thing is just it's just crazy. But so that's that. That's that. So yeah, the Google Assistant thing, I think you should. Okay, I know you're debating if you're gonna do the Google Home or the Alexa thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's still up in the air, right? I think it's gonna be a good thing if you decide to do that. I think it would be dope.
So that I can take over my life.
It won't take over your life. I think it's just great. Like I could just say, "Hey, G, yo, play this track," you know. I don't want to set it off nearby, especially my phone is right there. Um, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's cool. You could ask it questions and stuff like that. I'm having a good time with it. I'm using it now than I did the first half of 2017.
Well, at least it's being used. That's like that is a concern for me to buy something that I think, oh, it's great for, doing all this stuff, and then you stop using it as much. Like it was.
Right. I mean, the thing about it too is what I found out recently is I didn't know that this was a thing until recently. I can say, "Hey, G, play this playlist on Spotify," and then it'll play it. So I didn't know. So I had to go back into my settings to make sure. Like, I heard that you could do that, but I didn't realize that it was like actually active. So I did that a couple of times. That was fun. It's a good thing. It's neat. It's neat. So right now, instead of having it in my bedroom, I moved it to the living room because of all the move around that we did. So it makes more sense to be out there and may just get a mini for the bedroom. And my daughter has a mini in her room. So that'll be three of them. And then the Chromecast is one is in the projector, one is in the media room, the TV here, and then one is in my bedroom right now. I'm Googled out.
So what made you choose Google over like Alexa?
Well, I've been using Google stuff ever since the G1 phone.
Hmm.
So I think that ever since then, and using their email and most of their, online tools or productivity tools or whatever, I think it just made it was a better, it was easier to transition into that for me, I guess. I'll say that. Not it was better or not better because Alexa, I've used that and that's pretty cool too. But it was just easier to transition because I was already involved in that ecosystem. So it just rolled right into it.
I'm gonna figure out if you can just like tell Google to play jokes on you, just send you messages.
You can say tell me a joke. You can
But
say tell me a joke.
it'd be funnier just for your Google Home to tell you jokes or just
It makes
deliver you
phone
messages.
calls. It's cool. It can set reminders. It's an alarm clock. It can
It's
add things on my
Skynet.
calendar. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna convert
Skynet.
you into one of these devices. It's pretty neat. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's pretty cool stuff. Okay, so I don't know. You may have to help me out on this, or the individuals listening to this podcast is going to be. I need some help. What was going on with Spike TV? I was seeing some random tweets from their account. Were they like closing down or something? It was just weird. Some of the random things I was seeing about Spike TV. That was probably
Okay,
like a week and a half ago.
that was new to me. I've been so out of the loop on some things. I don't know what happened with Spike TV. I don't even have cable. I forgot about Spike TV. Let's put it that way.
You know, okay. So Spike is now Paramount Network. Rebranded Paramount Network is gunning for TV dominance. Okay, so that was the major change there. So I'll add that in the show notes for additional context. Because the reason I asked is because, okay, so that's not better if I'm here. So I may have to make some adjustments. The reason I asked is because I saw like a lot of tweets from their account on a particular day,
Hmm.
and there was a whole bunch of stuff like just going down with them, and they were just randomly tweeting some interesting things. I was like, yo, what's going on with them? And that was happening. So I'm gonna add that to the show notes, Spike TV stuff. So that's what's going on with that. Dwayne Johnson is now grossed 701.7 million worldwide, with the split being 408 million internationally and 293.7 million domestically. Uh, the sequel starring Deadline reports the sequel starring Dwayne Johnson. What is that? The
I'm
sequel.
sorry,
Jumanji.
I was
I was like,
reading
what
through
is that?
the Twitter thing of that Spike account.
Oh, you got lost in that.
I
You
did
got lost.
because I got lost and I was like, wait, I want to see what they said. And like the one
See, it
I
was
started
weird.
giggling at was I hated all my logos, but this last one looks like a tattoo design from a rejected Ink Master
You
contestant.
see?
And
That thing was crazy.
yeah, and I think it's more of like maybe it's doing this merger, this name change, and everything like that. That I gotta leave it to either the person that's handling the social media account is being let go because maybe their whole rebranding thing does not include them with it, and he's like, you know
Mm,
what? I got a
I'm just
week
gonna let
left
loose.
in this company. I got the passwords. I'm just gonna put a bunch of BS out there, and
That's
we're gonna be
crazy.
done with this.
Yeah, that was an interesting series of tweets. Making adjustments here. Yeah, that was a lot of interest on that account. I was trying to figure out exactly what was going on there. So that's what's happening with that.
Hi, Rob.
Interesting. What up, Rav? So
Mhm.
that's what's going on there. Star Wars episode, what was that 9?
9.
Okay, director J.J. Abrams is working on a new sci-fi drama series. Tomb Raider trailer. Any comments on those things? Star Wars, Tomb Raider.
I feel like J.J. Abrams. He's a good director. I mean, I'm gonna like whatever he comes out with, however it comes out. Kind of just makes sense for him to stick with the sci-fi series. He seems to be doing really well with it.
Okay,
Tomb Raider. I'm
Daniela.
kind of digging this. I
It's
am.
dope. Okay.
I'm digging
Okay.
this whole re-envisioning of Lara Croft and um Yeah, I'm not like stuck on the previous movies. I
Okay.
think I'm not gonna be one of those people who are like, oh, Angelina Jolie did the best. There's never gonna be any better, Lara
Right.
Croft. But then you see how many games are reinvented and remade, and you can always say it's never gonna be better than this. But you just gotta give it a chance. And I am completely open and welcoming to this Tomb Raider that's coming out. It looks great. So
Okay, so I have a question right there. Okay.
what's up?
What were you expecting from Tomb Raider as you're watching the trailers, right? And you're experiencing it. What are you thinking? Better, worse? You expected more or just right? Or what are you thinking when you're watching them now?
I I don't think anything. I'm going in with a blank slate. I don't want to have some. I don't want to set some expectations because I don't know what to expect. I definitely think it has more to offer than what Angelina Jolie did. I mean, they
Hmm.
went for the very when they created that Tomb Raider series, which wasn't bad. However, Mr. Rob over here thinks differently because Angelina Jolie was a horrible Lara Croft. But they went for the very sexualized version of her. It did have the action. It was still fun to watch in a way, but you saw the route that they went. They went very sexualized Lara Croft. Um, where this one, I don't get that feeling. I like that it's more focused on what, like her brains and her strengths, and what else she has to bring to the table. And she's like an adventurer. She is the female Indiana Jones. So I'm going in with a blank slate. I don't want too high of expectations because I started to get like that. I think in the first trailer I saw there's some things that seemed a little bit cheesy to me, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna let this go because Laura Croft, Angelina Jolie's movies, they were really cheesy too, and I still enjoyed it.
Okay.
Just different
So
way.
when you're thinking of Tomb Raider, and are you thinking women's empowerment or anything like that?
Oh
Any?
yeah, of course I
Okay.
am. Because when I first played it, it was on PC when Laura Croft. I can't remember the exact one. Um, Super polygonal. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was so cool to have this female character who, shot guns, was very acrobatic and athletic, and that was awesome to me. And I hope in future generations that, even if it's whether through video games or through movies, that other girls, all girls, even men feel empowered by that.
Okay. So do you think it's still a great representation of women, especially if the lead actor is a woman, even though it's a movie directed by a man? Do you still consider it well represented, even if the movie is not a directed by a female, but still has a female lead as the actor?
I don't think you need to have a female director to create a film that's about female empowerment or empowerment in general. Maybe does it help? I mean, as long as this director, no matter what director it is, um, doesn't pull like the stereotypical kind of weakness in women. Like, I don't want to see a scene where she starts crying and I'm like, I need help. I don't think I can do this. And then she needs a man to cheer, like push her on. Yes, you can. No, no. As long as he stays away from that, and men, male or female director can be perfectly guilty of that. It has nothing to do with the sex. It's just if you're creating a movie that's supposed to have a strong female in it, don't stick with those stereotypes. I don't feel any differently towards it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. YouTube kills ad revenue for smaller creators. So you have that, and right within the same window, context of time, if you want to say that, Twitch introduces new video producer tools, like either the same day or the next day. I don't remember, but it was really close. YouTube kills ad revenue for small creators. What do you think about that whole thing? Or did you hear about that whole thing?
Um, Oh, wait. Before I even say my thoughts on this, because I do have some good thoughts on it, you should go and look and peep, Twitch, because I hope that's what you were looking for.
Okay, wait. Hold on. I should peep it now.
Yeah, you should peep it now.
Okay, let me look. Let me see what you're talking about. Hopefully the sound doesn't hit the thing because because I had pop out chat open. Oh yeah, that's that's pretty cool. You're so
Okay.
awesome. You're
So,
so awesome. That's pretty neat.
my thoughts on this. At first, when I first read about it, it was somebody that I follow on Twitter posted an email that they received, and basically he's not like a huge YouTuber, but you can tell it's a little bit more than a hobby. Like, he puts out a good amount of videos. He has several thousand followers, so some of his videos were monetized, and then he gets that email that says, okay, well, basically, as of, I can't remember the
Wait,
date that was posted on there,
February
um
20th. I think I have the email
you
still.
you will not meet the requirements to have your monetized videos.
Yeah.
In a 1 year span, you need to have at least like 4,000 hours total of watched and 1,000 subs to reach that monetized goal, and for us to consider it.
Right.
And at first, like, considering, this is like an online friend, this is somebody who works hard at it, I felt bummed for him. I was like angry for him.
Yeah.
And I thought about it again, and I get it. I totally get it. Does it suck for smaller channels? Yes. Yes, it does. But in a business sense, you can't just have any person just have monetized videos. It really can't, because you make it seem like the people who worked really hard to build their channels, to build that following, to have 100,000, 200,000, whatever subs, and all of these videos and hours I put in, almost like lower that value. And you got to put in your work. You got to put in your dues. Realistically, to me, like, when you look at it as just numbers, 4,000 hours and 1,000 subs sounds completely overwhelming. Yes, it does. But if you put out good quality content, that first 1,000 comes real easy. And if you're making 5 minute to 10 minute videos, even once a week, you're good. And those 1,000 people happen to check it out, plus whoever else finds your channel, and you throw it out, and you're gonna get to those 4,000 hours pretty relatively quickly. And maybe might not take a year, might not take 2 years, but there's people who've been working so hard for 3, 4, 5 years to get that attention, to get that notoriety, and be up there, that you should put in the work. You can't just be handed that. So it makes sense to me to be a little bit more exclusive about who they're giving those opportunities to. I don't think it hurts YouTube in the sense of how much money they're making or not making, but I get it. And if anything, I think people should feel like push themselves a little bit more, because
Okay.
it's better to just be able to work something and to know that you earned it. That's a good feeling. Like, it wouldn't be the same as it just being handed to you. And I can apply that to Twitch as well. I mean, I'm only an affiliate, and I feel great. I worked hard for that. And I have to work 10 times harder now to be able to ever reach that partner status, if I ever get it. Whereas there's some people I know who've done nothing. They just happen to talk to the right people and being given the partner status without ever meeting the requirements that is needed to do it, that these partners who put in the work earned it. Like, there's a difference between feeling good and accomplished, that I did this work, I know I deserve this, rather than it being handed in a platter. And I think that's what or at least what I take away from what YouTube's done. And I don't I don't see it as a bad thing, really. I don't. Does it suck for a lot of people? Yes, and I totally get it. I do. Um, but I wouldn't want ever anything handed to me, and I want to make sure that I earned it. I earned that title, and I earned that right to monetize my videos, or to not. It just kind of just makes sense to me.
Yeah. So some of the things that you mentioned is definitely who you know, because some individuals may, know the right individuals and get the partner really quick, as you mentioned, that kind of a thing. Earning it is, the grind is real, right? So it's a uphill battle for many who are trying to get their Twitch to a place where they actually want it to be. So yeah, so 4,000 hours of watch time within the past 12 months, 1,000 subscribers. So from what I heard from different podcasts that I was listening to in relation to the same topic, is that the those individuals who do not have those requirements, ads will still be running on their channels, right? So they just won't get a cut from that.
No, it just goes straight to
It will
YouTube,
just
which
run.
is like kind of what they have right now. You just won't be able to monetize it yourself and say, "Hey, I
Right.
want money for this."
Right.
It's
So
I also take it. This is probably a really bad analogy to it. I always take it as street performers. Performers put a lot of work. They put a lot of time, and they spend many many hours. Crafting what they do, and they have their music, and then you
okay,
see
help me.
somebody.
Street performers, you mean, well, like guitar, drums, that stuff?
Yeah,
Okay, got it. Okay.
and then that's their artwork. That's what they want to do, and then someone sees like, hey, that's a great idea, and they kind of half-ass, here's a flute, here's my flute case that's sitting out there, and I'm just gonna play music, even though this is my first time at this, the street corner or at this train station or wherever it is, and expect money to constantly just like be dropped into their hat, their bucket, or whatever it is. Where there's some street performers who put hours in, and they're super creative and they're great with their music. Like, it may be a bad analogy, but that's how I take it, is give a little bit more, do some more, do something that will make you stick out. Don't just keep following what everybody else is doing and expect the same results.
So a question for you.
What's up?
For as far as YouTube is concerned, do you see yourself building anything on there? Like
I
a
would
vlog for
love
yourself
to.
or that kind of a thing?
I would love to, and I always really, really want to. But that,
I
like,
think you should.
it's always been on my list of things to do, and I want to do it. I do. I have a channel. Yes, I do. Have I updated it? Not in the last like 4 years.
I think you'd get 1,000 subscribers fairly quickly.
if
That's
if I
just
put in the work, if I put in the work and I put what I want there, yeah, I will. But
I
it
think,
is
yeah, I
like
think so.
another full-time job to add on to it. It's not something I can just make whatever clips and just like put on there and just, okay, here you go, that's done. I'm a perfectionist. I like all the
True.
pretty stuff. I want something that makes my videos mine, and they know that when they see it, even if I don't have my cam up, even if I like don't have any of my name on top of it, you see a video, I want people to be able to be like, oh yeah, that's Danny's style, or that's how she would commentate. I want something that's unique and mine. I'm a very super perfectionist in that way, which it's like it's kind of a step backwards.
I never got that vibe from you that you're a super perfectionist or anything like that.
I do. I want things right. I want things nice. Like this thing, like this nice new overlay today.
Like this
I was,
thing. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
I was. I
You did
finished it like 3
amazing.
o'clock in the morning.
What?
Yeah, it was 3 o'clock in the
Why?
morning. Cause I was fiddling around and moving stuff and trying out different
No.
things and trying to see what works. And I like that. I like that feeling. I like feeling, really good.
3 o'clock in the morning. See, you didn't tell me that part.
because it's not bad. It's
You
good
you left that
productive
part
thing.
out
It
on
feels good. It feels
purpose.
good. Shh. It's okay. It's okay.
You left it out on purpose. All right.
I
So
did
yeah,
not
so the
leave it
YouTube
out on
thing is
purpose.
really interesting. You didn't tell me the 3 o'clock in the morning thing.
It's okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. All right, so you have that. All right. So right after that, the Twitch team, if you want to say that, introduced new video producer tools. Like I think it was like the same day, like that evening, they put that out. And I like what they're doing. You know, the Premiere and all that, the different things, different options that they're giving you. I'm gonna have a link for that in the show notes as well. The YouTube thing is making a lot of people sad, but as you mentioned, if you're putting out great content, you should be fine, basically, right? So that's what's
You
going on there.
should.
Huh?
I think it's
Talk to
funny
me.
that Twitch came out with that shortly after
Yeah,
because I feel that is their way of like, well, here's Twitch. Let us do this for you
exactly,
instead. And
exactly, absolutely.
I didn't get to try out all the features. Obviously, I didn't try out the features, but I went to go check it out. I saw it on my dashboard, and I'm like, this is you're definitely trying to take on YouTube because you can actually monetize it, I believe. You can still get bits on there. You can still get subs while it is. So it's like you're streaming live, but you're not. Because you can schedule these uploads, which is different from your VODs. So they want to be as specific as they could to let you know
Right.
this is not your VOD. This is something different from your VOD. So it's like you created a video like you would for YouTube. You can schedule, you know, it will be live and open to the public on this day at this time. And you can pretty much host a premiere of like, hey, this is a new video I created. Let's all watch it together. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Pretty clever.
You're sneaky, Twitch. You're sneaky, but
But
it makes
they got the
sense.
attention. They got the market's attention for sure once they did that.
I don't think I've seen anybody use that feature yet. However, now thinking about that, I think Godfrey is. Cuz they have their video coming out. So, let me think about that. I have to go find, because I've been trying to find people who have been using that feature and I haven't found one yet.
I haven't seen it.
I know that there's got to be out there. I just need to expand my horizons about where it is.
Yeah, but then again, I'm a bad example of people that's actually online, like on a regular basis now. I'm like so not really online, but I am, and it feels great, absolutely amazing.
Mr. Ruff, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mr. Rob, go ahead. I see it.
Mr. Ruff says YouTube has been making several bad decisions lately. It's like they want Twitch to take over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like I was saying, I don't know if it was necessarily a bad decision. Does it hurt smaller streamers? Yeah, it does. I feel like Twitch and YouTube are like the yin and yang. So Twitch's advances and what they've done in being able to offer more and the affiliate status, I feel it's always been, well, to me, I take it as Twitch is just being greedy. Because they're like, well, if we enable this other tier of, you know, streamers and partners and affiliates, they make more money, and it's always more. And then at the same time, I see YouTube, they're kind of like taking back on some stuff. They still make the same amount of money because they still can put ads on top of your non-monetized videos, but that also discourages people from wanting to create their own channel. Like some people will be encouraged and they're like, no, I'm going to make this happen for me and do it. And other people is like, what's the point?
Right.
So it's kind of like a give and take.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I'm never going to stop. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're never gonna stop. Go ahead, finish your thought.
I'm never going to stop using either services.
Right.
They both have their. I still feel there's still a very clear line in between them about what I'm going to use for one versus the other.
Right. Okay. Um, as I'm thinking about it, I think what we're witnessing right now, even with some developers, they're doing things in stages, and then we see what happens with the next phase, right? Which there's a particular story that I saw later on that kind of relates to what I'm talking about right now, but I'm kind of jumping ahead without mentioning things. But I'll say this: you'll see a phase one, and they make a move, maybe move a whole staff to a particular location, do a new studio for something else, and then they may slip in the news that there's a patent that was released on a particular, month or quarter, and then you find out later on it's because they're getting ready to come out with this game or this project or whatever. So we see it all the time in phases, right? And I think that this move for YouTube means something else, right? It just looks bad because the individuals like Facebook and Twitch are taking advantage of the fact that at the end of the day, the market doesn't care. You give them the tools that they need, and the individuals who are, using those services are going to benefit, and they're going to benefit wherever the most tools are that benefits them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're seeing, real time. So I think it's interesting. I like it. I still like the fact that we post our stuff on YouTube. I'm still going to promote it because YouTube is a big video archive place for us, and Twitch is going to slowly but surely become the same thing. So I think that I like the fact that we have the options that we do, whether it's Facebook or Twitch or YouTube, and to post the things that we need to post. And I think it's pretty dope.
Yep, it's going to be interesting. The year is still young,
Yeah.
and who knows? Who knows? And maybe before the end of this year, I'll actually have a new video to put out. Because I'm pretty sure the last one that's on there, I think I was like 28.
You'll have video. You can put something out fairly quickly. We should put out a video next week about something.
Okay. Like what?
3 to 5 minutes
Okay.
tops on YouTube.
Hi, my name is DJ. I added to my backlog this weekend and I bought Monster Hunter World.
And the funny thing that you say that somebody would watch that, right? Okay. And be like, wow, she's pretty cool. Subscribe, right? I'm telling that it's easy to some degree. It is. People will subscribe if they like your personality, if they like the content that you're putting out. It doesn't have to be anything that long. In terms of the hours and the minutes watched, that I don't think that's going to be a big deal for you if you decide to do a YouTube channel. You're very personable. People like you. I think that's a given. That's up to
I'm
you if you
working on
decide
it.
to do that.
I am. I can't say I'm actually working on it
Yeah.
along with
So
everything
so yeah,
else.
that's I think that can happen. What's up, Try? Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for joining. Those who are watching and listening, thanks for tuning into episode 386 of the show radio. Talking about a lot of different things. A lot of different things. You two should record a co-op playthrough of Human Fall
Flat?
that Fall Flat. Human Fall Flat. I don't think I've ever heard of Human Fall Flat, but I don't mind. How would I do the co-op thing though?
I have to look at
Because
the game.
I'm a Linux guy and I can't use my capture card for anything. So all my stuff is done through the console. So if there's a way for me to maximize my stuff when I'm streaming on either PS1, Xbox One, let me know, please. I'm looking for ways to expand that. So yeah, so you have Cloverfield, then you have Cloverfield, a 10 Cloverfield Lane, right? And then you have
Mm-hmm.
a Cloverfield 3 potentially will be released on Netflix. That's rumor has it. Column. Any comments on those things?
Interesting if they're not going to release it out to theaters and it's just going to be on Netflix. I mean, I've never looked at
Okay.
any of the stats to see what the audience is like and how. Like, I'm used to seeing box office numbers where, like, hey, opening weekend had X amount of people viewing for this amount of money made at the box office for the
Right.
first week. Yeah, I don't really see that for Netflix. At least none that I noticed. So I don't know, does it have a better audience because who does not have a Netflix account or access to one?
Right. Right. Yeah, I don't see a lot of numbers for them either. But
So,
we saw Bright, right? For the Will Smith thing. They didn't really say numbers on that. That was December, I believe. First or second
yes,
week
I
of
think it
December
was,
that came out.
yeah. Yeah, it was.
I liked it. You know, it had representation of aliens, it had representation of, you know, black people and all sorts of alien races in there. Some magic stuff. I can't wait for you to go into the topic that we're approaching right now. I really want to. Can I read it first?
Go right ahead. But,
Can I read it first?
yes,
Oh
you
man, it's
can.
gonna be fun.
Go ahead.
You want me to do it now? We're
No,
almost
we
there.
can
We
go.
got two more. We got two
Go
more.
ahead.
Two more before we get to it. So yeah, excited about that. Okay, so Vince McMahon XFL, that's gonna come back 2020. Instagram now supports GIFs. I think that's how you say it, and stories. That's a thing. And so we have this conversation, okay, and I've been kind of like just messing with Daniela as we approach this particular topic. You know, Black Panther's right around the corner. We were talking about women representation. The leading questions I was doing for Lara Croft was actually triggers for this particular topic that we're getting ready to talk about. Okay, so we're going to spend some time on this one. I don't know how much time though, but it's an interesting article that was brought to my attention by Daniela herself. And I think we have to dissect this in context with every single paragraph. What do you think, Danielle?
Yes, episode 386 just turned into like Black Panther hour here.
Okay, well, this
Let's
is your
go.
fault. This is absolutely your fault. Okay, because you wanted to bring this up. Okay, so the title of the article, this is on sci-fi.com. I'm gonna take my time with it. Where's my water? I'm gonna need
Wow, okay.
I'm gonna need
I'm gonna
water
need
for
my
this one.
water.
I'm gonna need water for this one. Okay, so the name of the article is 2018 will be the year Hollywood stopped only catering to white men. That's the title of the article. Okay, I could stop right there, but we can't because we won't have anything to talk about. So it goes something like this. It says, last summer I went to an early fan screening for Wonder Woman. As the lights dimmed and the Warner Brothers logo hit the shiny silver, a woman behind me shouted at the top of her lungs, her voice cracking just a bit, "I've been waiting my whole life for this." I know the dramatics, right? I had to throw that in there. What is that? What did that mean to you?
That she was proud to be a woman, that she's proud that there is a great movie that came out that's not sexualizing Wonder Woman and that it is showing who she is as a courageous woman. I
Okay.
think every woman waits for that film that makes them feel great. And like, yeah, Lara Croft
Okay.
is empowering me. Wonder Woman, it's Wonder Woman. She doesn't
Okay.
think, she just does. And she's powerful and she doesn't care what any man says, she just does it. So yeah.
Okay.
I understand
I like how you're like extra hype when you're talking about this right now. Extra hype. I just have to point that out to everybody listening and watching. Daniela is like lit right now. Okay. All right. So that's just the first paragraph. Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, so I watch Wonder Woman. You watch Wonder Woman. Questions coming to my mind. Was there any other movie besides Wonder Woman and Lara Croft that you were empowered to see because there was a female lead?
Completely off, different type of movie, A League of Their Own.
Okay. I need more context because I can't even picture that movie for some reason.
It's the one with the female baseball team.
Oh, okay. With Tom Hanks, right?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, okay. So I'm with you now. All right, fair enough. All right, so Black Widow we never got. Oh, okay, so that's later on in the article. So let's keep going. So next paragraph. I saw Pixar's Coco in a theater in Los Angeles that's deep in a San Fernando Valley. Are you familiar with that area?
Yeah, it's not kind of.
Okay,
Go
with
ahead.
a high Latinx population. And through my own reckless sobbing, seriously, the last 20 minutes of Coco are like the first 10 minutes of Up. I could hear the weeping of recognition, parents, grandparents who literally never seen their culture on the screen, rendered with all the care and expertise that Pixar has previously brought to bear on everything they do. Now, question: how much do you really care about representation on the screen? Are you looking every single film and asking yourself, and I'm not picking on you. I'm really just asking these questions because I just, want to know how you feel about it. There's no Asian representation in this film, or um, it's not well balanced in that film, or like when you're watching movies, how are you watching movies, like period, just in general?
Of course, I'm looking for representation, and if it was represented correctly, I
Every
mean,
single
there's that
time?
whole. Well, yeah, I mean, you have not every single time.
Okay.
Um, but when you have movies or characters and they're Asian by every book and every writing and article about it, they're Asian and then they're casted by a Caucasian actor, which is a huge thing about whitewashing, and um, it sucks. And I feel like that can go for any race, just in general. When you know that I swear. Okay, so like the latest one that's coming up, Mulan. Mulan's gonna be a live action movie. I would have
Okay.
flipped my lid, and you would have like a whole 30-minute mini podcast of me being so incredibly mad if Mulan was not Asian. If somehow they casted, I don't know who. I can only think of Scarlett Johansson now because he brought up Black Widow. But if she was
Okay.
casted to play Mulan and to pretend to be like Asian, I would have been so mad. I would have been furious. I mean, that's not happening.
Okay.
Thank thank
Okay.
goodness.
Try said Captain Marvel. What's going on with that? Is that
I
who's casting that?
I have no clue.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know is that even being casted right now? All right. So did that turn you off? And I'm asking these questions because I'm thinking about they kind of fit the conversation. Because and this is why we want when people in the chat, we want these questions. We want you guys to ask questions too. But as I'm thinking about it, did it turn you off when Scarlett Johansson played the character for Ghost in the Shell?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
I was
A
upset
lot?
about it.
A
I mean,
little?
I still watched it. I still watched it. I still
Okay.
enjoyed it, but it sucked. I mean, it sucked to know that like I watched anime and I watched a lot of Ghost in the Shell, and then it's just Scarlett Johansson. Like, really, you couldn't find any Asian actress anywhere.
Who would you play? Who
No.
would you have play that part?
Um,
Zhang Ziyi,
I don't know.
Michelle Yeoh.
I to be honest, I'm not even sure.
Okay,
I
fair enough.
I think
All
there's
right.
so many that could have been fit into there, but but okay,
Okay.
I have to play both sides of this here. I do have to play both sides of this.
What does that mean?
Yes, I do get upset about certain characters that are normally any other ethnicity that's being casted by a Caucasian, and but at the same time, I can't be upset about that when you have there's certain like Disney movies, like the Cinderella that was played by Brandy. And, you know, Cinderella's normally Caucasian.
Okay.
And then you have Brandy comes in, who's African American, it's black. And now it's like,
Okay.
well, I can't be a hypocrite. And those are like the
Fair
huge
enough.
things where I try to keep a level head about it. It's because yeah, there are movies in which they change, they twist it up a little bit, and it's okay. And I believe Prince Charming in that movie was Asian.
Mm. I don't
But
remember seeing
I
that
feel
movie or
like a
anything.
hypocrite for it at the same time because it was like straight to Disney. Um, but I feel somewhat like a hypocrite for it because I can get upset over like, okay, so you didn't cast it racially correctly, but here I am watching a Disney movie and I'm excited that Cinderella's black. Because you don't get to see that as a kid. You don't really get to see that a whole lot
So
because
why were you? How did that make you feel? Why were you so excited about it?
you just don't get to see it a lot as a kid. Like you have no idea how happy I was to have a Barbie doll that was Asian and it was like the only one, or to have any of the Disney princesses be any other ethnicity except for Caucasian. Like Jasmine from Aladdin, I was like,
Word.
"Oh my god, you're not quite Asian, but you're brown like me. This is perfect."
Okay, so
So,
it's a big deal.
yeah, it is a
It's a
big
big
deal.
deal. It's a big deal. Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, try put in the chats in relation. I'm trying to go back to the chats real quick so I can read it. 2019 might be bigger than Wonder Woman. We'll see. We'll see. Bigger than Wonder Woman in terms of impact, or bigger than Wonder Woman in terms of what money generated. Like, can you like give me a little bit more on that? Let me know what you mean by that. So yes, I'm gonna close this window, close that window. All right, yeah. So let's walk through this. This is interesting stuff. Like you're we're getting to the good part. Where did it go? Okay, yeah. So okay, so that was that. There was a video that circulated on Twitter about a month ago of a young black man standing in front of a massive Black Panther poster, giddy at this array of black faces staring back at him, struck by the realization that this is what white people get to feel all the time. What do you think about that paragraph?
I don't think Caucasians or white people feel any type of way when it's an all white cast. I think they're kind of like numb to that
Can
in a
you
way.
say that? Can you say that with absolute assurity without sample sizes and context from them?
I can feel pretty confident about it.
I could
Like
too. So I'm not
I'm trying to
defending
picture
or
I'm trying to picture a
okay.
circumstance in which there is
Uh-huh.
a giant poster of just all Caucasians and like any Caucasian person just standing in front of me like, "Oh my god! Look at all
Okay.
these white people!"
As a white guy, I can speak on that. Speak on what? I need additional context because the thing that I wanted to do with this article when you sent it over is like, okay, we're gonna break it down. We're gonna take some time with it because it's very important. Because I have my own bias when it comes to a lot of different things, right? Okay, so what is Rap saying? Can you get that one
Oh,
for
he
me?
says, I do get all excited over Vikings and Goth tribes as it is his heritage. Okay, so that
Okay,
is a difference.
fair
That
enough.
one I can fully understand.
Fair enough. So you know, we get excited when we see a certain representation. So I can't fully say that every single white person when they see, you know, the films that are out or whatever, that they don't feel you know, a certain kind of way when they see it on screen, which is why I really wanted to take the time to not necessarily be over emotional or biased about even reading it, even though I'm like doing very dramatic when I'm reading it right now. Outside of that, I think it's fun, but I really wanted to really spend some time to like really dissect what's happening here. So I can't speak for that, you know, Raf can. And there's a lot of individuals looking at the movies that they're seeing. And when most of the time they're represented all the time, it feels great. Once in a while, you know, you have, you know, black movies, you have Asian movies, you have what's the what's the one of the most popular Asian. I may be completely wrong on this, and the fact that I started the conversation, I have to finish it, even the sentence, right? Joy Luck Club was all Asian, right? That was an
Yes.
Asian film.
Yes.
Thank God.
I love that film. I
Woo!
absolutely love that
Oh, that
film, and
was
I
close.
watch it once a year.
That was close. Okay. So yeah, so that, representation, and I'm sure there's just a pride that goes with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we see that. So I'm not necessarily upset when I see people enjoy the fact that they have the representation on the screen. I don't it shouldn't be okay, tamper down your level of excitement because of the reputation that the representation that you see on screen versus another group, right? That's the challenge that I'm having with it, right? Because even in the sales of what they're supposedly getting ready to generate for the movie, pre-sales before it even comes out in February, it seems like it's going to be record breaking because of the way the movie is set up. A lot of black people, maybe one or two white people in it or whatever. Representation big. Black people love to spend money. They're definitely going to spend money on this film. That's like some of the things that we already know that's happening, right? So that's fair. So I'm trying to be very, very objective about it. But I have my own bias because I even told you, offline that this is probably one of the first movies in a long time where it's an event for us to go as a family to go to the theaters because I don't really go to the theaters like that. Once in a while, I did see Logan. That wasn't me. I wasn't representing me per se, according to the context of the conversation and the thing that we're reading, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I went to see Logan in the theaters. I did. There's some movies I'll go see in the theaters. I thought it was dope. I saw a few, in the theaters. Fast and Furious, we talked about that, right? That was a mixed cast, but the car enthusiast in me, I had to go see. What was it? Fate 8? That was the last one, right?
Yeah.
I think that was out, right? So yeah, interrupt me at any time because I'm just thinking out loud at this point before we continue.
Well, Trey was saying that there was a GoFundMe to help inner city kids go see Black Panther, and he believes that Ellen got involved with it as well.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
And he also says never seen that before for a movie. That's true.
Right.
That
That's
is
pretty
true.
that's pretty dope. That's amazing. And I think that's pretty cool. Right? So that's what's going on with that. All right, so next thing, 2017. If 2017 was the tip of the representational spear, then 2018 will be the long shaft that follows. This year will deliver Black Panther, A Wrinkle of Time, which I kind of looked at it and I'm still trying to figure out what's the casting. It looks like it's mixed. Ocean's 8, and Crazy Rich Asians, studio movies catering to historically undeserved audiences, many of which are written and directed by members of those same audiences. Any comments on that?
Well, A Wrinkle of Time, the article will, I think, will continue to read on that. But they are having a twist on The Wrinkle of Time. I did read that book. That
All
is
right.
one of my favorite books from like grade school. It was one of the first books I fell in love with for literature. And they do have a twist on it. And it's supposed to be a Caucasian family, and they're not.
Right,
So
right, right.
let's go
Okay.
with that. Um, and I think it's great. And I
Okay.
think it's nice that they're starting to cater towards it. And it's not to say that there haven't has never ever been an all
Right.
Asian movie or an all black movie or all Latino movie, but to be a like a blockbuster triple A title, that's a different story.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, in other words, 2018 is the year that white dudes will be confronted with inescapable media that isn't about them. Rav, what do you think about that statement? White dudes will be confronted with inescapable media that isn't about them. Do you feel like you're trying to escape media that doesn't resonate with you? I know you're one guy. You're excited for it. Fair enough. Fair enough. We need more white dudes in this chat. That sounds weird.
No, no, he does not feel like he is being confronted with some escapable.
Right. So even the way the tone of the article suggests a lot of different things, right? There's different implications here, which is why I wanted to go line by line. Okay, so next thing says that the overwhelming majority of cinema, for the entirety of there being cinema, has been made of stories told by white men for white men. Of course, there have traditionally been women's pictures, but most of those were written and directed by men. Movies about people of color were, until the indie boom of the 1990s, either genre or exploitation, or in the case of Scream, Blackula, and then Scream again, both. With the rarest of exceptions, female characters were either romantic quarry or heroic reminders. Any comments on that?
What in the world is Blackula?
Blackula. I am Blackula.
I'm gonna assume it's a Black Dracula, but okay. Yeah.
I gotta look it up now. What year was that? Blackula. I am Blackula.
Because the only what Black Dracula.
so
I know
many
this
things.
is
Oh my
completely like off
gosh.
topic here. The only Black vampire Dracula I can think of was what was the one with Eddie Murphy?
1972 for Blackula.
Good. But there
Directed
was a
by
vampire
William
movie
Crane.
with Eddie Murphy though. That was kind of a comedy.
I thought so too, but
That's like the only
how did we get here? This is a rabbit hole right now.
Yo,
Oh my
if they're
goodness.
gonna be bringing up Blackula in there, I've never heard of it. Of course I gotta go and find out.
Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's the one. See, that's
That
the
was
only one I
Eddie
can think
Murphy.
of was a Black.
2-star
vampire.
out of 5. Vampire in Brooklyn.
It was a bad movie,
So,
but I
yeah.
liked it.
So far we're good, right?
Yeah.
We're good, right? All right, so let's get back to this wonderful article here. So you have that. So quarry, romantic quarry, or heroic reminders? One or the
That's
other, or
very
both?
true.
Okay.
It is always true. Like in older movies, it's either she was like the main hero's reasons, like why I have to go and do this,
Right.
which ties into being the romantic, object there.
Okay. Random question. Did you watch 12 Years of Slave?
No.
I didn't either. Did anybody in chat watch 12 Years of Slave? I don't know if I could even watch that. Anyway, that's just sidebar for anything. The heroes were always white, were always men, were always straight. The progress that stars like Denzel Washington and Will Smith made is that they were so popular that they often got cast in roles that were written for white actors. But unless they were making a biopic, playing, say, Malcolm X or Muhammad Ali, rarely were they cast in roles that were purposefully written as black. Even then, they were telling white stories. Any comments on that?
Will Smith as Deadshot in
Suicide?
yeah,
thing?
Suicide Squad.
I didn't see that. Was that good?
I liked it. I mean, it wasn't very well received, but I did not like Will Smith's role in there. It didn't fit him. They tried to
Okay.
adjust it because Deadshot's a Caucasian, but they tried to fit, having a black actor play a white role, and it felt very stereotypical. Because
Okay.
Deadshot could have easily, his whole story did not even have to be touched. It could be, the history of a black man in it, but no, they tried to turn it, and I didn't like the way that they made Will Smith look as it because they were doing flashbacks, and he looked like
Was he white in the film? Did it paint him?
no,
Okay.
no,
'Cause I
it
didn't see it
didn't.
yet.
But it made him look like a pimp, like a '70s pimp. I don't even think it happened in the '70s.
Okay.
It was just bad. I didn't like it. But
Okay.
it's
So now,
true though. You can tell for certain roles that they've played that you know that it wasn't originally written for a black actor or a black character.
what was the thing that was in the news a couple of months ago where the guy opted out of a role because he realized that the character was like of a different descent?
Oh,
You remember that? It was
I
a
remember that.
whole
I can't remember the movie or
Twitter
the
post about
actor.
that.
Yeah, I can't remember the actor.
That
I
was
forget the
like
actor.
weird to see because you don't often see that, especially when the movie's casted, and that was cool, in so many different ways. What about back in the day, the movie Spawn? Okay, let's talk about Spawn. What about the movie Spawn that you want to bring up? Talk to me right now.
That
What's
was
going on with
cheesy.
Spawn?
That was cheesy. Spawn was played by Ben.
Spawn. That was Michael J. White. Okay. What was going on with Spawn? Okay, so because now I'm looking at these things from a different lens now, right? Because usually most individuals, and I'm going to put myself in one of those categories of most individuals, watch the movies for entertainment purposes. I'm not necessarily dissecting everything, but nowadays, because I'm listening to more stuff and watching more stuff at a different lens, now I have to, right? And then Daniela
Mm-hmm.
is like, brings this article to the forefront of stuff, and we're talking about it. So what was up with Spawn? I don't know. I don't know. I think I don't know is the safe bet right now because I'm trying to figure out where you're going with that.
I'm not as well versed in the Spawn comics
I like the
at all.
movie. I thought it was cool.
You like the movie? I didn't like the movie at all.
Yeah, but because to me it was like entertainment value. I love the turtle, like the first one that they did on screen. Like the film itself. I like that one. I liked all the Turtles films. It's cheesy, but it's really good. You know. So I think. All right. So that's what's going on with that. All right. So women and people of color, on the other hand, have a experience in empathizing with characters who don't look like them. If you were a lady nerd, you had no choice but to take your icons where you could find them. Is that true?
Mm, as a kid,
Okay.
as a
Likely in
kid, I
films
did.
surrounded. Okay, as a kid, likely in films surrounded by a subservient to men. Prince Leia is a fantastic character, but the end of Star Wars: A New Hope finds her staring at a monitor while the boys do all the Death Star exploding. Anything on that?
Um, I agree with it. And when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
about like how I was saying, take your icons where you can find them. It's like I had Disney princesses and some comics and some, and that's why that's kind of what got me into manga and anime in the first place, is because obviously they're written and drawn by Japanese, Koreans, just Asians in general,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have that kind of culture growing up. I didn't have that, and unless I was watching the Filipino channel with my grandma, I didn't have any Filipino role models. But Disney princesses especially. Um, so I attached myself real quick to ones that I could, I guess, physically identify with. It's like, oh, you're Asian. I didn't even care what type of Asian it was. The fact that this character, this what was Asian, I thought that was amazing. We're done. We're
Okay.
good.
All right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hawaii Five O. Was that was a mixed cast, right?
Yes.
Um, it had Asian leads, right? At some
Yes.
point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
One of them left or two of them left or something like that. Somebody
Oh, I
left.
don't know. I don't watch it like that.
Yeah, something happened with that cast. That was I don't know if it was money involved or why is this individual
There
getting
was probably money involved because they get paid less. But
okay.
as I've gotten older, I stop identifying as far as looking for heroes or something to look up to or being inspired by just based off of looks, as
Okay.
I go off of traits either that I value in myself that I see in another character or another person, or
Okay.
traits and personalities and strength that I admire and I want to have. That's what I look for now as an adult. Is it
Okay.
Do I still I still look for that, like it's an extra bonus for me if they happen to be Asian as well.
Okay. Fair enough. The only two female characters in the original Ghostbusters are A, the damsel in demonic distress, and B, the receptionist. I don't remember the original Ghostbusters like that. So comments in the chat, feel free to let them loose. Until Scarlet Witch showed up, Black Widow was the only lady Avenger, the only one who contractually could have gotten her own movie. Universal has the rights to a solo Hulk flick, and 17 flicks deep into the MCU hasn't. And so it goes. So why don't we have a Black Widow yet?
I don't know.
Nobody knows, right?
Nobody knows.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop there and I just want to do some reflection. Okay, do you think that this person who wrote this article is leaning to a particular side, based on what we talked about already.
Yes. And
Okay.
it's like it's gonna be funny when I finally get to why I wanted to talk about this, because I think it has to do with everything it says, but in a different light.
Okay. All right, so fair enough. We had to identify with Harrison Ford or Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise because we had no one else to identify with. We all wanted to be heroes, but those were the heroes we got. Then came Wonder Woman, armed with a dignity and resolve. Patty Jenkins, a film stormed on the field and lit a fire in generations of women who have been waiting their whole lives, like, the first paragraph, to see themselves at the center of the action. Asking no quarter, granting no quarter, it sparked a movement and swallowed $800 million at the worldwide box office. So I want to go to the paragraph that you sent me.
Okay.
I think we kind of got the digs of this particular thing, right? So the paragraph that you sent me is something I kind of mentioned, which was interesting. Something I kind of mentioned the last episode we recorded, 385,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, so this paragraph says Black Panther might be the biggest, blackest movie ever made. And white nerds are going to have to go see it because it's a Marvel movie. They're going to have to learn to identify with someone who doesn't look like them, who doesn't live where they live, who doesn't talk or act the way they do. I think that's what he was trying to say there because there's a typo
Mm-hmm.
there, I think, right? They are going to have to learn cinematic empathy. Daniela, that's what you sent me. Let's break that down a little bit.
It pissed me off to read that. I'll just be frank. Straight off the bat, it pissed me off because the way that I take this, it is to say that, and I'm just gonna leave out movie fans right now. I'm gonna leave with comic book nerds and video game nerds, and they don't have to be necessarily nerds. I should say fans. It makes me feel that this person is implying that these comic book fans who love Black Panther, regardless of race, is automatically racist. And if my history and my experience has taught me anything, that comic book nerds, video game fans, whatever they are the least racist people I have ever met, because they read comics, and in comics, yes, it's not like an overabundance of other races, but you read them and you learn about, struggles of your different favorite superheroes. You can identify with their struggles. You see where they're coming from. You see the whole world in all of its differences. And when you become when you became a comic book fan and you read these comics front to back multiple times, if anything, it shows you how to be accepting of diversity, of changes, of problems, of anything that comes and it happens. And the fact that this person said that just simply to me implies that they are racist and that they have to learn to accept and identify. Like, no, they already have decades ago. It's not like Black Panther was suddenly a made-up comic book character last year. No, Black Panther has been around for a long time. Comic book nerds have already accepted that. And you know what? Did you hear any problems about it being a black character? No, absolutely not. I hated the way that this person said that. And then if you want to include moviegoers, I feel like, okay, if you want to take not even Black Panther, if you want to take Captain America, you want to take Iron Man, you want to take whoever else in the cast, Thor. I know black men and Asian men and Hispanics that can identify themselves with them. And it's not out of empathy. It is because they see traits and in these characters that are being portrayed, and they can relate to them. They are inspired by them. They're encouraged by them. It has nothing to do with the fact that they were Caucasian actors or anything like that, or not Caucasians, or whatever it is. So I just really, really did not like how it had to say and apply that it's just like, look, it's an all black film. Get used to it. You're racist. No. I didn't like it at all. It should have.
Okay.
I didn't like the way it was worded. I didn't like the way it made me feel. It's just like, no, you're just implying that the comic book universe over here and all the people that are fans of it don't know how to get used to that it's a black actor with a black cast and that everybody's racist.
Okay, so chat, I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. Black Panther might be the biggest, blackest movie ever made, and white nerds are see it because it's a Marvel movie. They are going to have to learn to identify with someone who doesn't look like them, who doesn't live where they live, who doesn't talk or act the way they do. They are going to have to learn cinematic empathy. So I have a question for you, Daniela. Why didn't you chew me up when I said what I said last episode, 385?
Because I didn't see I had to. I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay.
It didn't rub me the wrong way. And Rob says he didn't get that that was what he was saying or implying people were racist.
For that paragraph okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because
like white nerds are going to have to go and see it. Well, they're gonna go.
Yeah, I didn't go that far. I didn't go that far.
No. That's what he's saying. White nerds are going to go out to see it. They're not.
Yeah, that's what he said. Right.
They're gonna see it because they want to watch it, because they love Marvel, because they find it exciting, because it's action packed, because it looks cool. They're not gonna be like, it's not like you're gonna have Joe over here is like, well, darn, I'm gonna have to go and watch a black film. No.
How does that go again? Well, Joe, are you ready? You're funny.
And it just, and I maybe I'm being a little bit defensive on it, but that's how it made me feel, and it rubbed me just the wrong way. And a lot of people can read it a lot of different ways, like Rob did. He doesn't see that. We have to get racism. Yeah, I know. Right?
What?
But the way that I
speaking of racism. Oh my goodness.
I'm mimicking of a Caucasian Joe here, but I just. Okay, I'm gonna leave it for your thoughts.
You're gonna leave it for my thoughts?
Yes.
Okay. So 385, one of the things that we were talking about, you said, so yeah, so are you gonna see Black Panther? I said, Danielle. You said yes. I said, Black Panther is the blackest movie ever made. And you laughed. And we chuckled. We had a good time about it. Because I don't think I was saying anything that was racially infused in the context of what we were talking about.
No, I mean, I agree with the first sentence that he says Black Panther might be the blackest movie ever made. Yeah.
It's what he said
awesome.
after.
It's after that. It's after what he said there that bothered me. Rob could be right, and I could be reading a lot deeper into this. But, I mean, that's what makes us all great. We have a difference of opinion and how we feel towards the same topic, and that's what, brews forward movement, and it's good to always have different opinions.
Absolutely. So yeah, so that was an interesting article.
But what do you take from it? What do you take from what he is saying?
All right, I got to be careful here now. I got to be really careful. I think he's excited about what he's preparing to go watch in the theaters in February, right? And the guy who wrote it, I believe he is black. According, I think it's Mark something. According to the thing, I think that the excitement sometimes. See, I'm in a different place. Okay, I have to give context before I kind of answer your question. Because sometimes emotion can drive what we do in a lot of ways, right? So I think that we have to be careful when we're writing and saying certain things because we want to be as logical as possible in the context of the conversation. And I'm trying to be better at that. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to be better. I think that he is excited for what he's getting ready to see in the movie theaters. Um, I chose to use the same words almost verbatim that he used in the paragraph that you sent me, right? But the context and the tone that I gave you didn't drive you to have a conversation about what I said in 385, right? Which was interesting
Hmm.
because in the context of what we were talking about, I was excited because it was another movie, a lot of action, a lot of black people, and I'm gonna go see it. That was it. That was it, right? But this was a little bit more because even in the beginning of the paragraph, he started giving context of pockets of different movies that have affected groups and individuals in different ways because of how they represented on screen and even themselves when they watched it, right? So
Hmm.
even every single paragraph, you started seeing that. I'm just excited because it's another level of entertainment. Going back to what you were saying about Thor, I was watching it because I Thor is one of my favorite characters, right? And I didn't understand the eye patch thing. You know, there's still some stuff I don't fully know about Thor. I know the hammer is really heavy, not everybody can lift it, all that stuff. His sister apparently can do some stuff with it. That's crazy. I didn't realize that until, this last movie or whatever. Great movie. Did watch that. Definitely check it out if you can. Um, I identified with the fact that he always wanted to do the right thing, and then you had Loki that was on the other side, conflicting stuff, right? So I don't see them as white characters on screen when I'm looking at them. I know they are, but when I'm looking at them on screen, as you were saying before, it's what is being shown to me as the characteristics of these superheroes, whether it's Spider-Man or Thor or Iron Man or whoever it is. Loki, I'm still working with. I kind of like Loki,
I love Loki.
right? So there's different things that I see in these characters that I can identify with, and that was always okay for me. Where I've never been into like because the movie has black characters in it all the time, I have to run and see it, right? I don't think I ran to see Training Day, right? But when I saw Training Day, I was like, okay, so why was it that movie that got him that whatever award it was? Why was it Training Day? Because there was plenty of other movies that he made that was whatever that award was. I don't know, is it the Oscar? Whatever he got for that that was worthy of him getting that award, but why did it have to be Training Day, right? So I had gripes about that, but not every Denzel movie that comes out I run and see. I didn't see the last one he did. What was that? The black and white cover. It was what was it?
Yeah, I don't
Not Esquire. Esquire just came out. The one before Esquire, I think. I can't think of the name of it. I have to look it up. But I didn't see um the name of the movie. So the point is not every black on black movie I run out to see. But there's just an element that's happening here with the fact that, the guy said it's in Africa, has a whole bunch of black people. It's a superhero film. I like superhero films. And I think it's going to be one of the biggest films of the year for a minute until something else comes out. So I'm excited about that. So I think that he could have used better words, or better wording, um, and how he was trying to express what he was saying, because what he was saying to some degree could be considered racially infused. And I think that's how I kind of left it. I wanted to be as objective as possible when I was reading it, and I didn't even read it first. I told my wife to read it and tell me what she got from it, versus, and then I read it after, and I took my take from it. Then I wanted to talk to you about it. So that's pretty much how I roll.
Well, Rav says white nerds will have to learn how to connect with characters not like them. That isn't racist. It is just what it is. And Try says, in the Marvel Universe, there are hundreds of different races, even alien. If you don't like diversity, you can't like comics. And I agree with Try. I mean, it's his wording, and I'm not saying that the writer of this article is racist in any means whatsoever. I don't believe that. But just how he was implying that people who are going to be watching this, white, I don't care if they're white, Asian, whatever it is, they're anything that isn't African American or black was going to have to learn to
Yeah, it's
empathize,
how you
and
read it.
it
It's
it
really how
really
you read
is.
it.
and it didn't just sit with me, right? Because I don't think it really matters. Like you said, you watched Thor and you liked him and you could relate with him, and it had nothing to do with his skin color. It had to do with his characteristics. And if anything, that's what people will identify in this movie. It doesn't, I mean, is it great that it's an all black cast? Yeah, of course it is. It's not like you see that all the time. So yeah, that's super exciting. But to learn to empathize with them and like as if it's a completely foreign thing, that's just, I don't know. If you're just basing it off of color, then I
Okay,
don't
so
think it should
I
be
have to
included
take
on
this all
it.
the way, right? I have to take this
Yes.
all the way. There's just certain things that I will probably never watch on screen. I don't care. I don't care what I just don't want to watch certain things on screen. I don't mind aliens, right? I don't mind superhero stuff, but I can't do Brokeback Mountain. I can't do it. I just can't.
Oh yeah, then a lot of people can't.
I just can't. No, I'm just, and there has to be that side too. It's just certain things I can't do on screen. I can do Turtles. I can do my Donatello, Leonardo, and all the cats. I like them, right? I could do a lot of Bruce Willis films. I know he did what? Sin City 2. Acts of Violence was a recent one. I think that was Bruce Willis. I can do Die Hard, Die Another Day. I could do that, which is James Bond. I could do a lot of films. I can't do Brokeback though. I just can't. And people may not like that. I just can't do it. So there's just certain things that I don't mind seeing. I could do the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I could do Sword of Destiny. I could do that. They did the second one. I could watch that. I did the Bruce Lee. I could do that, but I can't do Brokeback Mountain. I can't.
Okay.
I just can't. So there's bias. I have my own bias, and reservations about a lot of different things. I understand where he's coming from, but I was like, all right, bro, I probably wouldn't use those words, but I have to be honest, all the way around the board. It makes people uncomfortable. That's fine. I get it, but I have to be. I'm going to be true to who I am and what I say, and that's how I feel about certain things. There's just certain things I can't do. I can't. So that's that. All right.
We'll
Any
end
last
it.
thoughts before we move on?
We'll end it with what
Wakanda.
Try has to say. We'll end it with what Try
Okay.
has to say. Try says, "I wonder what race will identify with Vision."
Yeah, Vision is so dope though.
Vision is everyone.
Vision is so dope. Like absolutely. So yeah, that was interesting. I think we got through that pretty well, Danielle. I think it was all right.
Yeah, we got through it. And look, we're halfway through the show. I
I
told you
think I,
it was gonna be Black Panther hour, and you know what? We're like 8 minutes short of that hour.
oh man, that was good. That was
That
good.
I like
All right,
it.
so a couple of things. Over 10 million fans tuned into stream platforms to watch the first week of the Overwatch League. I know a lot of individuals do Overwatch. I still haven't done the Overwatch thing. I did play the beta, but I haven't gotten the game. I'm interested in getting the game, but I don't think I'm going to at this point because I'm caught up in some other games. Overwatch, what do you think? Are you still watching, thinking? What do you got going on with
I
that?
want to get it. I just kind of put it off. I mean, I just don't really need another game.
Okay.
Really, I don't.
And you
And the thing is,
mentioned
I don't know what platform I would ever play it on because I have a lot of. It's pretty split, and I'm like, it's too hard of a decision. I don't want to decide, so no, I won't play it.
okay. Okay. But you did mention recently you got Monster Hunter. You played it? Do you
Not
check that out?
yet, not yet.
Okay.
I've been really tied up with work, so hopefully I'll get to it on Tuesday. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll play it tonight. But I
Okay.
did get it. I got it on PS4.
Nice.
Got the digital copy, so I'm
I liked it.
excited.
Ryu and Sakura are characters I think you can get in them
Yeah,
or something
I
like
saw
that.
that.
That's pretty neat. Okay, so you have that. Toys R Us is set to close 182 stores across the U.S. The company announced recently, according to Nintendo, reporting numbers from analysis from analysts. The NPD Group, Nintendo Switch Move 1.5 million. These are some of the review stuff that we didn't catch up on because we didn't record last time. Eric Hirschberg is going to be departing in March. Eric has a great run. Okay, yeah, at the company. Yeah, because they did some awesome stuff. As of December 21st, 2017, Call of Duty World War II and Destiny 2 were the number one and number two top selling console games in 2017 of 2017 in North America based on revenue. That was cool. Any comments on those things?
Yeah, I'm not surprised about Call of Duty and Destiny being like top selling console games. That's like to be expected. I don't know why
Yeah.
anybody would be surprised about that at all.
Yeah, I'm a little sad about Destiny right now. Destiny is, oh man, it's a turn off, but that's a THQ Nordic's 2009 third-person shooter Red Faction Guerrilla reportedly gearing up for a re-release on PlayStation 4 and Xbox. All Microsoft Studio games will launch on Xbox Game Pass at the same time. Yeah, I know I said that twice. Are you excited about Xbox Game Pass? Third time.
Mm, I don't know because I don't remember the last time I turned on my Xbox right now. So at the current moment, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I haven't turned
All
on
right.
my
So
Xbox in like about 3 months.
all right. So the thing for me about the subscription model stuff, um, so the Netflix, yes, Hulu, yes. Um, the PlayStation subscription, I didn't do. I don't think I'm considering doing. And then the Game Pass, I don't think I'm going to. Um, for the simple fact that most of those consoles I kept. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I see the value there, but I'm trying to find a reason not to invest in yet another subscription model. And I think that's really where I'm at with it. I don't think there's anything that super amazing that's going to have me pay for the Xbox Game Pass to play anything on it on that console, right? Because the games that I have right now, the ongoing games that I have right now, quote unquote, are still adding value to me, especially with all the updates that they're doing. Street Fighter, Call of Duty, Division, and even Destiny. Those are the main games I play right now. And then watch whatever I watch for movies outside of that. That's entertainment right now. So there's nothing really pulling me to make a major decision for a subscription model thing. Prime is dope though, because I think 2 shows ago we talked about the fact that they included the anime into their bundle for the Prime, which made perfect
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Removing the double paywall, we talked about that. So there's a lot of things that they're doing that makes complete sense in terms of making sure that we're getting value wherever we can. But I personally do not see the value right now for the Xbox Game Pass.
I mean, if you're not a
That's
collector, then great, but you better make the best use out of it if you're gonna be paying for a subscription or anything like that.
yeah,
Like, you better
yeah,
play as many games as you possibly can. Don't let it sit there.
absolutely. So you have that Elite Controller 2. That's a rumor in the rumor mill that there's going to be another one. That should be exciting. Okay, so I don't know when we last talked about the controller that Ori was coming out with, right?
Mm-hmm. The
Super
Hori?
excited about that controller, right? But what ended up happening was I found out that that controller does not have 3.5 millimeter jack in the article that I was reading about it. So super turned off now, right? So as great as it is for a PlayStation Sony licensed, very similar to like a Xbox controller, it doesn't have all the things that I would need, especially when I don't want to put like a big headset on and I just want to put like a 3.5. It doesn't have one, which is sad to me.
That one didn't have the built-in speaker too, right?
I don't think it had the built-in speaker either.
Hmm.
So by design, if you really think about it, like the PlayStation controller that comes with the console is one of the best controllers outside of like a scuff. Outside of that, because it has everything you need, right? Because it's by PlayStation. You can use it for the PC. Great controller. It's one of the dopest controllers out.
Just like this one, the Scuff controller. Thank you, Scuff, for my controller.
So, one of the dopest controllers out right now. I mean, think that I don't want to like dumb down my features for the controller, especially if it's supposed to help me have not necessarily reminisce, but have the identical controller that is reminiscent, I would say, of the Xbox controller. So I wouldn't have to necessarily go back to it. I don't know if they have those. I know in previous console generations, you can take like an adapter and make a controller another controller by different inputs, that kind of a thing. I don't know if they're doing that for this generation for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One. I don't know, but that may have to be an option if we're trying to, use an Xbox controller, an Xbox One controller into a PlayStation 4. We'll see. Time will tell.
But if they added on that audio adapter, the 3.5 millimeter plug-in, would you go
When you
back to consider it?
when
The
you say
Hori.
plugin, well, plugin would mean software because
Well, no, like the port.
if they did the port, absolutely, because that would be like the next best thing if you didn't have a scuff. Or if you did, there was another company that came out with a controller that was pretty dope too. I can't think of their name right now. But they did a controller. It was very elite like of a controller. I have to get the name and put it in the show notes. But it was cool too. I was looking at that one, but Scuff, came to rescue, so it just faded from my memory.
It's okay. Mad Cats would come out with something.
Yeah.
They gotta put their name back on the board somehow here. If they're gonna be reinventing themselves.
They're back on the scene. They're back on deck right now. So you have that. Okay, so the controller, Epic closed down Paragon. Okay, so going back to what I was saying before, I definitely want to like share something there, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that first.
I've only got to play Paragon for a little while, not before when they were in beta, and it was a good game and it was fun. It wasn't something that fell directly in my genre of something I want to continue playing.
Okay.
But I do know some people who did enjoy playing it and kind of play it semi regularly. And I guess with the changes that they made, it just wasn't very well received. And they didn't try to fix it, or at least they were trying to, and they were just like messing it up even more, making it less enjoyable for people. That it did not catch on as well as it should have. And that kind of sucks because initially, when it first came out, it had some good steam. It had some good hype behind it. People were enjoying it. It had a pretty good release. It just didn't stick. And it definitely didn't stick after this card system they implemented and those map changes. And it just didn't work out. So.
Okay. All right. So that thing. Okay. So we were talking about before Black Panther Hour. We were talking about things in phases, right?
Yeah.
Where I was kind of briefly mentioning that, and what I was saying, and really this was the fact that they moved the team from what they were doing to that team to work, to double down on Fortnite because that was more successful. That was the first phase. Second phase, what you just saw, the fact that they announced a shutdown, and that's what I was saying. So there are certain things that we're seeing in phases. We don't know why they're doing what they're doing. We kind of have an idea, and pretty much we saw this thing play out. And I think I was really tying that to what I was talking about before, which was the YouTube stuff with everything that they're doing on their end to make sure that they clean up or sweep their system to try to get it back to something, I guess, more desirable on their, according to their vision and mission. But we'll have to see how that plays out in the future. And I think that's what I was trying to connect, but we had to get down here first before I connected it back.
I just hope them moving their team around to work on other games means that these people still get to keep their job. I don't like hearing about layoffs. I really don't. So I don't think anybody ever likes to hear about layoffs, period.
No.
In general.
It's interesting you say that because I had a layoff thing I was going to put in there, and I was in there, and it was recent.
With whom?
David Jaffe and his last game.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't put it in there, but you asked. So that's what's going on with that. Hunt, Showdown, the new bounty hunting game from Crysis. Developer Crytek has opened registration for closed beta. Testing phase will begin on January 31st. Gonna have a link in the show notes for that. Paladins X Edition bundle. That's now available on Xbox One. Street Fighter Arcade Edition. That is really dope. $39.99. I think if you don't have it already, update was free for the arcade thing because I already had the game. Great game. Great changes and updates. I really like what they're doing there. That's absolutely fantastic. Any comments on those things?
Well, I don't really play fighters, but did you watch Evo? Those are
Evo
Evo
Summer?
Japan.
Evo?
No, Evo Japan. That
No,
happened this
I
weekend.
didn't. No, I did not. Was it dope?
Yeah, there were some really, really good
Was
matches.
Daigo in there?
Yeah, I believe I'm looking up. I just don't get this wrong. I believe he came in third.
Okay. Yeah, he's one of my faves. Justin Wong was up there, top 5, top.
I didn't get to watch them all, but oh man,
those guys are like super elite. I can't
Infiltration came in at first for Street Fighter.
Okay, I don't know Infiltration.
But
I have to see.
It was really good. The matches were really good, pretty hype, and they used the arcade edition, so
nice. Yeah, it's good. It's beautiful. They have like 2 or 3 modes that gives you that give you the arcade feel of when like you're playing, dropping coins in the system kind of thing. You go through, fight a couple of matches, you get to the last guy, and you got to beat him. And so I like the setup. The colors are a little bit brighter in terms of the presentation, menus. I think they did a fantastic job with it. It looks really good.
Their netcode is still really, really bad. But it looks pretty. It is. It is. I think that's still one of the #1 complaints from a lot of people who play online is that the netcode is still not that great. So offline play is obviously going to be better, smoother. It's offline. It's there. It's local.
Okay. I would say out of maybe 15, 20 matches, I've had like 4 or 5 bad matches. It's not too bad.
That's laggy?
Yeah, that's laggy, and I couldn't respond. You know, my inputs were really, really late, taking hits, especially like if it was a match that I knew I was going to win because the person was not that, great. And then we had, lag issues or whatever. So I think it's a small percentage. I've been fortunate, I guess, So I don't know what it's like now because I haven't really played online ever since I did. The game is like, it's a beautiful game, man. I mean, I know some people, got it and all the stuff that they had going game first came out, what it didn't have, what it should have had and all that stuff. And I think that a lot of these games now they add stuff later as people complain. But certain things, should have been in the game. But it's a beautiful game now. I think they're doing a great turnaround with it.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I think, yeah, they did come out with it, and I'm glad they came out with that update or that new Street Fighter skin. I don't know what to call it because it's free for some people and you have to buy it for others. But I'm glad it came out before Dragon Ball FighterZ did, so people will play that because I feel that everybody, I don't care what you're playing, Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom, Street Fighter, KI, I don't care what you're playing. I'm pretty sure majority of them right now are playing Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yeah.
Which looks like if you thought that the Marvel vs. Capcom's like cinematics look great or all that other stuff. No, Injustice 2 as well. That one had really good cutscenes.
Beautiful.
Dragon Ball FighterZ, I actually legitimately enjoy watching. All the other ones, I'll watch a match or two and I get really tired of it. Dragon Ball, oh my god, I love every single match. I love how the colors pop. I love the cinematics. I love the little Easter eggs. I'm not going to play it, but I actually really love watching it.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but like positive stuff about it. Rav says if Game Pass was available on Windows 10, he would sign up.
You know what? I won't
It's
lie. I think I might
it's
too.
it's an interesting conversation, man. Like I don't know if I want to do. It's tough for me to make that call, and I don't think I've ever been a subscription guy outside of the Xbox Live, and which is like 40 a year with a good deal, depending on how you get that. But you know, it's out there. PlayStation 4 hacked. Pirate software available. More PS2 titles running if that's your thing. At your own risk. I don't. I will not do that to my Xbox 360, my Xbox One, my PlayStation 4 because I really want my systems to work the way they were intended to work. I don't want to mess with them. My phone maybe to the extent of like rooting and custom ROMing, but outside of that, I'm not gonna do that for my consoles. I like the way they work just fine. Comments?
Nope, I'm with you on that one. Won't touch it. Won't do that.
Word. PlayStation Essentials sale. I'm gonna have a link in the show notes for that. 10% off. I think there's a coupon code for that. Nintendo Lotto cardboard kits. I know that was a conversation, and yesterday morning. Well, was it yesterday morning? No, it was really this morning, like 2, 3 o'clock this morning. I was listening to podcasts, and one of the podcasts I was listening to was the recent Nintendo Power podcast that they dropped, talking about Nintendo Lotto. A little Q&A in there. I'm liking that. I'm digging that podcast, that Nintendo podcast. Not too bad.
So when I first heard about these Nintendo DIY cardboard things, I thought
Right?
somebody was joking with me. Like I saw some video about it. I was like, that's not for real. That's somebody's silly, dumb, like YouTube video. That ain't
Yeah.
real. And then I saw an actual Nintendo ad for it. I was like, wait, hold up.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Nintendo? And I'm watching this, and the one that the video that I saw had the little piano.
Right.
And I was like, what? Why? I'm so confused. And you know what? When I thought it was a joke, and I saw the little somebody leak some video or something about it, I don't know.
Right.
I thought that was absolutely silly. Like nobody's gonna buy that. What? I don't understand. What is the point of you making this video? This is just silly. Like Nintendo's not that crazy. And then I saw it when I finally saw it, and I saw the ad
Right.
for it. I kind of sat there, and I'm like, I kind of want this.
Why am I not surprised?
I
I'm not
don't know,
surprised.
because I looked at it, I was like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool that you're making me put together my own peripherals and accessories. How dare you make me work for my stuff, Nintendo, but I want it.
Okay, so now you're definitely getting a Switch now?
I don't know. I have until April 20th. Or maybe I'll just buy the little kits and I'll go to a friend's house that has the Switch.
Okay.
And I don't know. But I like those little DIY stuff. I don't know why.
You got so many games and stuff to catch up on at this point. You are like, I don't know,
I disappoint
20,
myself too. It's okay.
15, 20? No, I mean, you got a good library going on. It's intense. It's intense. But I definitely okay, so while I'm thinking about it now, Resident Evil something you watched. How was that?
That was cheesy and bad. I don't know. I didn't like
Okay,
it.
that was the last one, right? That was
Yeah.
the recent one that came out.
I mean, I liked it and I didn't like it.
Okay. What does
Rob
that
says,
mean?
but DJ, you still need a Switch.
Yeah.
I can just go over to a friend's house that has a Switch, or they can come over to my house because it's portable.
Indeed.
I liked it because it was nice and action packed. I liked Mila Jovovich, but it was like cheesy in its own way, and so like I love the very first Resident Evil movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then it went just consistently downhill from there, and I'm so happy that's the end. And if I remember correctly, I think there was like some article, I don't know, from like mid last year or somewhere that they were
Hmm.
going to reboot the series.
Would you watch it if they did?
As long as it's a different director, different storyline, and as much as I like Mila Jovovich, as long as she's not in it.
What do you mean
Yeah,
as
of
long as
course.
she's not in it? What does that mean?
I'm tired of seeing her in the Resident Evil movies already. Like,
Okay.
has she done anything else?
I'm sure. We have to look.
Well, I don't think she's done anything else other like during the filming of Resident Evil, but I would like to see her in other stuff other than that.
Okay,
The
now you're gonna
story
have
just
me
made
look.
sense. No, the story itself made no sense to me. If I just took it for what it is and I did not think of the video game series, I
Okay.
didn't think of any of those things. I took it as its own entity. It's still a really cheesy action flick.
All right. So let's go back to 2010. Milla. Okay. Okay. Extend. Well, 2007 extension. Right. And then in between there, you got A Perfect Getaway, The Fourth Kind. Then you have Resident Evil Afterlife. Then in between that, you have Stone, Dirty Girl, Lucky Trouble, The Three Musketeers, Bringing Up Bobby, Faces in the Crowd, Resident Evil Retribution. And then in between that, you have Cymbeline, a Barely Famous TV series, Survivor, Clint Howard something, A Warrior's Tale, Zoolander 2, and then you have Resident Evil, the final chapter. And then you have Hellboy 2018. Between Hellboy and Resident Evil, the final chapter, you have Shock and Awe, which is um, already out, a Future World post production, and the Hellboy filming.
Okay, so other than I didn't know she was gonna be in the new Hellboy, but other films,
Okay.
the other films that you mentioned, the
Uh
only one
huh.
that I knew and I know of is Zoolander 2. I have never heard of any of the other films
I don't think you
whatsoever.
like this girl. I don't.
I
I'm
do.
beginning to
I
believe you don't
do
like her.
like I do like watching Mila Jovovich, but she can be so much more. And I've never heard of those movies, so they probably didn't do very well because I don't remember. Like I can't even
See,
think of a
see, now you sound like the guy
single.
in the article.
She could just do so much more.
But you did. You weren't paying attention.
It's not my fault if she did some off-brand movies.
Oh. Okay. All right. So we have Milla's record over here. She's getting ready to do Hellboy. I didn't know she was in Hellboy. So that's interesting. All right. So Labo, you get Switch. You're getting Labo. That's what I had Lado, right?
Yeah.
My bad. My bad, people. Don't like stone me for the Lado versus the Labo. So that's what's going on with that. Destiny 2, I'm irritated, not necessarily highly upset, just irritated, and there's a lack of patience happening with me with the game that I really enjoy. It's a beautiful game, love playing it. The desire to play it right now is very, very low. For the simple fact of all the changes that they're making, and every time they come out with something that I would consider or I would deem quote unquote bad press, I'm a little turned off, right? So that's what's going on with that. So first thing, it was the acknowledging of the rally tokens with the throttling with that, and then the token system, which I don't necessarily think I was a fan of at all, because what seems to be happening, in a nutshell, with Destiny 2 is they're making it like Destiny 1, which is going to be an awesome thing. How fast are they going to do that? I don't know, but that's going to be a good thing for them down the line. Is it going to be too soon? Too late? Does anybody care? I don't know. A lot of people are rebranding their stuff and they're not necessarily talking about Destiny 2 anymore. That's scary, especially some of the big individuals who were Destiny all day, every day. I live and die. I got the tattoo for it, people. Okay. Who love Destiny. That's strange to me. So that's an interesting conversation. Any comments on that?
You know how I feel about Destiny.
Okay, so fair enough. We'll move on. Shader system is an issue too. So they're getting ready to there. and I hope that they catch it in time. I have games that are holding me over. I definitely want to talk about that. Oh, actually, I thought I put it in there, but I didn't. So while I'm thinking about it, the Division is doing everything right. It's scaring me. I
Okay,
mean,
I want to hear
everything.
about this.
Everything is right about the Division, with the exception of one thing.
What is that?
With the exception, when I'm playing a legendary level, I shouldn't get drops that are 30 to 40 points lower than my current world score, right? So right now I'm like a 279 or something like that. And I'm at tier. And one of the things that I really like that they added was once you reach level 30, you were at the same level as the enemies. Wasn't much of a challenge anymore to kill them. So they added these tiers, right? So if your gear score is between 150 to 175, you'll move from tier 1 to tier 2. If it's between 175 and 210, quote unquote, these are examples, you move from 2 to 3. If it's from 215 to 270, whatever, then you move from tier 3 to tier 4. So I'm at tier 5. I'm at their last tier. So the enemy levels on the map are 34. So they're tough. And when you're playing either like incursion match, I think that's what you call them, or a legendary co-op experience to do something, go kill bosses or whatever, there's loot that drops, right? So you have the purple, the yellow, the what I like to call raw orange, because like a red orange, which is the exotic, right? So I got this exotic sniper for the Division people. I got this exotic sniper that I bought in one of the things called the Historian, which is an amazing um you know marksman rifle, and I tricked it out. It's really dope. So the experience of joining games, right, and or going to uh, pick up the phone audio logs that you listen to, and the missing agents, and the virus things that you do, the encounters, and those things, all those things, everything that was already in the game, and the fact that they adjusted the levels where it makes sense for you to really enjoy the game again, and even adding skirmish to the game. If that's your thing, I'm considering getting the DLC because it's so dope right now. I think the DLC is like 14.99 or whatever. Everything about the game right now is the foundationally set to be a great ongoing game. Okay, so even to the fact that I knew they had a podcast, but I started listening to it like yesterday, so I'm up to date with them with their podcast, and they're making changes to the podcast in terms of the format, because they're not going to necessarily do every single update that comes out. They're going to talk about on the podcast, because the last update I believe was 1.8 for the Division, but which was a really big update. And then they have their global events happening right. The game is dope. That's the point. Right now, it's doing everything right. It seems to be overshadowing a lot of games that are very, very similar in style, right, and gameplay, and that's a concern for a lot of people, right? But the people who are playing the Division right now, they're having a good time.
So, how would you put it up against Destiny? Like, you're getting more satisfaction out of this now, which is older, which like pretty much every single update that they have just seems to be getting better and better.
100%. So right now, I haven't touched Destiny ever since I picked up the Division last week. So I knew the update was done, right? The 1.8, was updated on my system because I do the rest mode. So I knew that was already there. I started playing it, totally confused the first day, because I'm like, what is happening right now? Who's doing what? And what is all this stuff on my screen? Had to relearn the weapon system, the crafting system, what I had to get rid of, how to add the magazine, the muzzle, the scope to the gun that I really wanted, what the gear score meant versus my actual level 30, which was already maxed out. Why are these gears? Why do these packs of gear have a number now? What did the number represent? How do I get the number higher? And if I get the number higher, does that allow me to get new gear that resonates with my current number, which would make sense, which would be kind of like the Destiny model to some degree, that whatever's in your inventory at the time, they drop gear according to that. So to answer your question, Destiny hasn't seen the light of day for the last week, right? That's not necessarily a bad thing because um, before the reset that they're getting ready to do Tuesday, Iron Banner releases for Tuesday, and I think there's some upcoming changes even when they drop Iron Banner on Tuesday. But what's really cool about Destiny is every time you see Xur before he leaves, you're guaranteed an exotic that you do not have in your inventory as long as you have the legendary marks to purchase it. It's one time, right? So let's say he comes with a weapon on Friday, you don't have that, boom, you buy that weapon. But there's another section that is an exotic that is guaranteed something you do not have. So you can get two good items, especially if you have most of the stuff already. You can get two good items. Let's say he brings a sniper rifle you didn't have. You grab that and you're like, okay, so I have enough legendary marks to get the other exotic that's one time every week. And that's a guarantee that you don't have. So I go back for that. I know some individuals there's the other camp that will say, you know what? I don't like anything that's happening with Destiny right now. I would much rather wait for it to get to a place where I want to play it again. And then that's going to allow me to get all these different things that I haven't gotten as far as exotics and different weapons and stuff like that. That's cool. I don't know. That's a different camp. I still want the stuff, but I don't think I'm gonna log in. And I think that my login in for Division is kind of slowing down, but I'm still excited to go back into it because there's so many different contextual elements by way of story that you can get from it, whether it's the missing agent stuff, the audio log stuff, the encounters, and all the different things that you can do in the game to add context to the story itself to make it even more enjoyable. And I think that that in and of itself uh, kind of has a upper hand for I guess against Destiny, if you'd say that. A gameplay is a little bit different because it's more humanized of a game. Destiny is more of like a little fantasy to a lot to some degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that in and of itself is a little bit different. Both games are great, but in terms of replay value right now, in the context of the time that we're talking about, the last week of January, the Division is winning right now.
Jeez, I think I gotta go back and visit it. I haven't played it in probably a year. I haven't touched it.
Yeah, it's crazy right now.
I'm trying to think if I even finished the game. Probably not with my bad history. Probably not.
It's intense right now. So between that and Street Fighter and maybe Call of Duty on and off, I'm not really playing anything else. Just catching up on movies at this point. But that's what's going on there. So I need to know about this thing that you wanted to let me know about. This Snoop Dogg thing. what's go what's going on with Snoop Dogg? What is he doing?
Um, so he's being awesome. He's being himself. And I didn't think I needed to ever watch Snoop Dogg play video games ever in my life, but apparently I do. And he did some questionable things. I mean, it's Snoop Dogg. So he's playing SOS, which I haven't I think it's in a closed alpha right now. And I think they just made his account that day, and I think he only played for like 2 hours. And it being Snoop Dogg, he had like 80,000 whatever viewers, and he had like 100,000 some odd follows in like the span of like a couple hours that he was playing this game. And it's a survival game, and you're on there obviously trying to survive, trying to kill off actual real players. You have like NPC baddies that come attacking you, and I believe there's other actual real players that come and kill you if you want to. Or you can like all party up and you can make your own alliance and explore this island. It was my first experience of this game. And he made it look so much fun, and he just like was just being himself.
I
That's
see.
it. That's it. And the thing is, like, he was on there, he was smoking his blunt, and
Wow, Snoop.
well, I don't think anybody can really tell him no. I think that it's like he's at a point in his life and in his career and his status. It's just like, who's gonna tell him no? Nobody. Nobody is.
Nobody.
But I think Twitch's stance. I think this is like the controversy behind this as well, is that I think Twitch's stance of you smoking weed is, if it's legal in your state,
Yeah.
fine. We don't really want you doing this, but if it's legal where
Snoop.
you
He's
you
getting
live,
lit. Right?
yeah. And there's some people who that didn't follow along with. I believe Andy Dick got banned off of Twitch because he was smoking, and I think he was also in California, which is where Snoop Dogg is, and nobody cares. And the thing is, obviously, he was playing SOS, so obviously, these developers paid for, Snoop Dogg to play their game, to hype up their game and do these things. They're like, you know what, just whatever you want to do. But watching him play was just hilarious. And it was obvious that these people saw him streaming and they were like, I want to be on Snoop's team. I want to be in his alliance. And they're like attacking these monsters and Snoop doing Snoop things and just like,
Wow.
kill him, kill him. And it just like, he's just going off. And it was absolutely hilarious. And I just never thought I would ever need to see Snoop play any game ever. And I'm so glad that I actually did. It was funny.
Is he still doing his podcast? Because I know for a while I listened to it on. It's pretty Snoop,
Okay, that's new to me. I didn't know he had a podcast. Now I'm gonna have to go and hunt this down. I didn't know he did.
Yeah, let me look to see if he still has that. I have my phone here. Let me double quick, because I think
if anybody has time to go watch like the 2-hour VODs of Snoop playing, and you just need a laugh, go and watch it. It's funny.
Yeah. Last recording was January 19th. Snoop Dogg's GGN podcast. So it's still up, still running strong. Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I like Snoop stuff. He's always been very, very awesome entertainer and somewhat of a comedian too.
He's just a funny guy. He's like nobody else but himself. And I think that's the greatest thing about him, is that he doesn't I don't think he ever tried to, period. Not in his early days and not now did he ever try to be anything he wasn't. He did him, and nobody was going to tell him otherwise. I think that's awesome. And like, since we're kind of talking about music here right now, oh my goodness, you have no idea how painful it is to have a 14-year-old that thinks that Kanye is greater than Snoop Dogg. It hurts.
I'm sorry,
me.
what?
It hurts me. It absolutely hurts me to hear my 14-year-old tell me that Kanye is a greater and better artist than Snoop Dogg. And I'm just like,
it's two different categories. I wouldn't even put them in the same category. I mean, I like them both. I wouldn't necessarily say better. That's interesting.
When my son tells me that Kanye is a better rapper, I don't even know what to say anymore. Other than, please go sit in your room and you think about what terrible thing you just said.
I don't even know what to do with that. But I wouldn't use better, but I mean, Snoop has been in the game for a long time. And Kanye has too. And I'll say that. He was writing before he started, rapping. He was in the background before, in the foreground. So that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, Snoop is still doing his thing. Metal Gear Survive, I don't know. I could see Metal Gear Survive becoming grounds. I could see that. I know that's not necessarily an exciting thing for a lot of individuals, because there's underground everything. Paladins is going to be undergrounds, right? PUBG is already there. What else? Who else did it undergrounds? Fortnite has their um so yeah, it's a thing to underground your game at this point. So if Metal Gear has their own version of that, I wouldn't be surprised. It took me a couple of minutes, a lot of minutes, to figure out the menu system, how it worked before I dug into the game. They're using the Fox engine, which is pretty dope. I enjoyed that. It's a survival game, obviously, with the name Metal Gear Survive. I like it, but not love it. And I think that's where I really want to stop with that.
I'm not interested in trying it. I saw some gameplay of it,
Right.
and I don't know. The concept falls into what I would like, but it could be me just simply being a Metal Gear elitist. It probably is me
Right.
being a Metal Gear elitist. But it just like they're just taking the name and just using it as a cash cow, basically. Because,
Mm.
like, oh, if we attach Metal Gear to this, people will buy it. Which
Right,
in
right, right.
most cases it is true. I think they could have just named that game any other game. Still kept
Absolutely.
the same gameplay, different skin, different look, obviously. And I'd probably be more interested in it.
Okay.
Because it looked interesting. The crafting looked interesting. The whole like the defense part of it, like, oh, that's cool. I wouldn't ever call this Metal Gear anything. And that's what kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth because I'm like,
Right.
I'm not getting it. Because when I, like, the first thing I think about in Metal Gear when I hear that is tactical and, like,
Right.
sneaky. There's nothing
Right.
tactical, there's nothing sneaky about just building up towers and defenses and just, like, defending yourself against these hordes of things that are coming at you.
Yeah, it's a
So,
different game altogether. It doesn't have the heart and soul of Hideo Kojima. So that in and of itself, you know, there's already a cloud over it, to say the least, I guess. But outside of that, there are elements of it that I did enjoy, but when I didn't know how to get ammo and necessarily craft, and really I wasn't necessarily interested at the time to learn it because it was just a beta. I just wanted to see if it was anything worth spending even more time on, and I think I deleted the file already at this point.
you're like, oh no, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm finished with that. So you have that. It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't, absolutely amazing for me. I guess according to what I was playing at that time, but maybe it'll change. Maybe it'll be like the division and take 2 years and be, you know, more amazing. Who knows? We'll have to see. So you have that. Anthem was delayed. Anthem was delayed. So I know individuals are really excited about that. Gamers of all types and representations were excited about this particular Anthem game coming out for Xbox, and it's delayed. Is it Xbox only at this point? I think it is, right?
I think so.
I think it's
I'm
the
pretty
Xbox
sure it
only.
is.
It's an exclusive, right? So that's delayed. Um, don't be sad. Hopefully the game still comes out.
No, I think the game will
So,
still come out. Well, okay. I was gonna say there's a lot of hype and anticipation to it. There's a lot of hype
right.
behind Scalebound, and that was canceled. So
Uh-huh.
never mind.
Exactly. Exactly. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. The other thing that was really exciting, the last two things. The first thing was Facebook gaming, right?
Yeah.
So that happened, right? So I'm gonna have a link in the show notes in relation to that and what they're trying to do there. I did sign up for say, hey, I'm interested to learn more. I did do all that. I want to see what comes back from that. They have a developer news page introducing game creator pilot program. So I would say definitely jump on that as well, Daniela, for sure. So I think my information, the way I think they're going to do it is as it relates to the page that you already have established, right?
Hmm.
So maybe they have something that'll run to the show radio pod page. but I would say definitely sign up for your stuff if you're considering doing anything Facebook related in the near future.
See, that's the
And
only thing is I would have to create a whole different page. Like I wouldn't want it on
and
my
you don't want to do that?
under my own. I wouldn't want it under my own name
Okay.
because I want that separation, and I do that now. Like yeah, obviously I have my name right here, but um, when it comes to like Facebook, I cannot picture gaming so much on it. I think of
Yeah.
my family, and I think of that separation there. So I would have to create another name that's which I'm assuming you can use you can make a Facebook page, I guess.
Yeah,
Not
so I'm
just a
thinking
profile, but a page.
if I was running Windows, I would probably split some time streaming between Twitch and the Facebook page. And I know we're actually doing the podcast on Facebook, which is dope, but I don't have that option right now. The only option I have is streaming games on the YouTube and the Twitch straight from the PlayStation. Those are the main options that I have right now. So if Facebook was an option, that'd be cool. I think under Restream, you have to pay an additional fee for the Facebook option, right? And I think depending on the service and the software that you use, you can kind of multicast in different places, that kind of a thing. So I don't know. I have some other things I'll tell you offline also, but we'll chat in relation to some of the things I'm thinking. I want to your thoughts on that for sure.
Okay.
So the Facebook thing is real. It's a thing, and definitely consider that for your gaming needs. If you're trying to get into that scene for creating content, you have the option to do it that way. And last but not least, one of the trailers that really got me very, very excited, God of War. God of War is coming out 20th of April. I think that's the date set for it right now. And I'm excited about that. Thoughts, Daniela?
Oh my goodness, that trailer is just so amazing, and it's adorable at the same time. Because it's just you thought of Kratos and you got of War, and he's like this big badass beef just fighting, and then you kind of you're gonna be getting that, but you also get this somewhat softer side because he's a dad, and he has
Absolutely.
this adorable son who's gonna be an amazing warrior who's finding about his mom and his background, and you're going on this trek on this journey together. Like I love the way that this story is going, and the game looks so amazing. I wish I had a PS4 Pro. I so
Yeah, it's
did.
gonna be amazing.
So I can't wait for it.
It's gonna be really really dope. So I'm excited about that, and I think Daniela, that was like 386. Daniela,
Yeah, that was uh, our longest episode
you
yet.
think so? I don't even know how long, but yeah, it was definitely good stuff. A lot of great conversations, a lot of awesome questions and comments in the chat for sure. So thank you for that continued support. And Daniela, close us out, please.
So, thank you for checking us out, whether you were here live or downloading us on your favorite podcatchers. Again, if you weren't here with us live, you can always email us at community@theshowradio.info. We love to hear your questions, and we'll read them live and answer them live on stream the very following Sunday on our recordings. You can also subscribe to us on your favorite podcatchers at theshowradio.info/listen. Check out our Twitch at twitch.tv, The Show Radio Live. And for any and all information that we talked about tonight, or where to find us, and anything else you want to know about the show, you can check us out on our website at www.theshowradio.info. Oh, and we'll have a special one because I remember that there's Super Bowl this coming Sunday, so we'll record a little bit earlier.
Yeah, Friday. Also, two shows dropping this week. This one and something else. So look for that. Definitely wanted to throw that in there. So you're gonna have two awesome shows this week. So that's gonna be dope.
All right, and until the next time, bye guys.